the investigation play out. Over 60 people died in that collision Wednesday night. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Bestiality and child porn are just some of the charges against 4 people here in central Indiana. Court documents say April Brown, Eric Reed, Stephanie Reeves, and Anthony Strahl were all involved in a child and animal sex abuse ring in Greenfield. Reeves, in particular, is said to have let a dog perform sex acts on her. The state Senate is advancing a measure aimed at protecting living organ donors. The bill would prohibit companies who provide life insurance, disability insurance, or long-term care insurance from denying a living organ donor coverage. It's raining and in the mid-40s in Indiana, but Jason Puma with the National Weather Service says it's still winter.
We probably will get some snow. We're only in the middle of winter at this time, so to speculate that winter is over at this point, that would be a little foolhardy at this point. I think we'll certainly have chances for more snow as the winter goes on.
Though he says he's not sure when those chances will be. Indiana Pacers forward Pascal Siakam is an NBA All-Star. Head coach Rick Carlisle on how Siakam has helped the Pacers find their groove.
What we've been doing as a team is we're on a pretty special run here that has had nothing to do with individual. With us, it's all about the group.
Siakam is averaging 20 points a ball game. Tyrese Halliburton, a noticeable absence from the All-Star roster. They have Atlanta tomorrow night. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
All right, Kurt, I'm still seeing some fog here downtown, so it might be thick out in the rural areas. Please be careful with that. Also, northbound 65, just a little bit slow right now out of the north split to Meridian Penn. East 71st Street has reopened on the northeast side in case you're just making your way out East 71st from Benford to Shadeland Avenue, so you are good to go there. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com. Now for 60% off and free UPS shipping, add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Dads happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal. It saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry exes, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Areas of fog this morning, otherwise cloudy, on and off showers today, a high of 51. Tonight, scattered showers early, mostly cloudy, cooler overnight, a low of 31. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
46 degrees, some fog and lingering showers on radar. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, I am very, very sorry to do this to you.
What are you doing now?
Well, as you know, I don't look at anything before we start the program. So I'm sure you have spent hours upon hours poring over news stories and documents and audio clips, and you had some rip-roaring, wildly entertaining story to begin the program today.
I did.
Oh, what was it going to be?
Well, I don't know about entertaining, but at least informational. We were going to talk about the helicopter and American Airlines crash.
But that is informational. It is important. And we will get to it. But I have to do this because I am if we were in Congress, I would be the senior member of this.
I'm the freshman senator of the show.
That's right. Yes,
got it.
Yes, and as the senior member of
this
show.
So you like Mitch McConnell?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What are we doing today, Daddy? Tell me.
So as the senior member of this show, I'm going to insist that we delay momentarily the update on what's going on in Washington, D.C., and that's very important. We'll get to it. But we have to play this audio for everyone.
Yeah.
So coming up at 10:06, we are going to have an interview with a guy by the name of Chad Ellis. Chad is a township trustee in White River Township in Gibson County, which is southwest Indiana, down towards Evansville. And we're going to have a very important, robust conversation. We've talked about how, hey, these townships are sitting on all of this money, and if you were to make reforms to local government and better utilize, eliminate, whatever phrase you want to use, the resources, you could free up $774 million potentially,
right?
Which totally negates the police, if Ron's property tax paid, the police are all going to be fired, and there'll be no firemen in the firehouses and one-room schoolhouses. And we said, look, the thing we have said for years now in this program is there's not a revenue problem. There's plenty of money in these local governments. The doomsday scenarios are gross and disgusting because there's plenty of money. There is a spending and allocation of resources problem, and there's no reason, while we can debate the merits, and we're going to do this with Chad coming up at 10:06, of whether township governments should exist, and there are some reasons for and there are some reasons against. We all should be able to agree that there's no reason collectively across the state of Indiana for $774 million just to be sitting in these accounts.
Yeah. Well, a couple things. One, I like how you're saying that you're the senior member of the show. For once, you're not pointing out my age, which I appreciate. But this does go along, something that Chad says, which we're going to play here in just a moment, does go along with what Governor Braun had said during his State of the State address. And that was, his quote was, "I understand this tax relief will have an impact on local governments, but taxpayers are struggling and we have to put their needs first."
Yeah, and trying to deal with this property tax deal is like playing Mario, where you just move from one level to the next and there's always some villain at the end of the level you have to hop over. So Carmel, of course, you got the $55 million pool there. You've got the $36 million G League Arena in Noblesville, the open-air stadium they're going to build in Westfield, the empty patch of grass in Brownsville. Pick your favorite suburban community, and there's just waste out the wazoo that it's despicable to say I can build these things in my community, but I would have to fire the police or the firemen or the teachers if property tax reform got passed. And so now the new thing is, well, it's the rural communities that would really suffer under Braun's property tax plan. And our argument from the beginning on that has been, if the rural communities aren't seeing the property tax spikes the way the suburban and the donut counties are, then that's not going to be an issue because they're not having as much of a reversion to begin with.
Right.
So there's this ever-moving thing. Anytime you beat one level, and there's no excuse for the $55 million swimming pool in Carmel or the G League Arena, and then they know that. So the new thing to us has been, well, you're not understanding what it would do to the rural communities. I want to play you a clip, and we'll play the full interview. It's a great conversation about township government. There was a great back and forth. Chad's a really good guy. We don't agree on everything. But this is the most important part of the interview. And if you're Braun or Braun's people, we will send you this clip. We'll send it to Holdman. We're going to send it to Bray. This dude, who is a rural township trustee, who is all the things that we've been told are going to suffer or die if property tax reform passes, makes the case for you on why the property tax reform plan needs to pass. He's admitting, Chad's a great guy. He's very honest. He's admitting there's not a revenue problem. There's a spending problem. There's an allocation of resources problem. And most importantly, and he's as rural as you can get in the state of Indiana, there is a property tax crisis in this state. But let's accept that premise. If there's all that money sitting there, shouldn't it be released to the public safety, and then we could do everything everybody wants to do?
Now I'm in agreement with you. I could not agree more with that. We need to take the excess funds, the excess tax dollars that have been collected, and use it wisely and put it into places that it's needed. But as you know, when you give an entity more money, they're going to want more money down the road, right? So then what?
So I think we're in agreement at least on this, right? That there's not a revenue problem. There's a disbursement and handling of money problem.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I don't. And again, I'm not saying this because I'm a township trustee. I don't think it's at this level. I think it's at all the levels.
We agree.
Wow.
This has been a great
agreement. I was reading back through some of your posts yesterday, and I'm in very much agreement with you that property taxes are way out of control. If you add a 4% tax to somebody that makes only $60,000 a year, which I believe is the average income in the state of Indiana, you're talking about $2,400 a year. That's $1 an hour tax on these people that they're not getting $1 an hour raise every year, right? And inflation's up. Something's got to give.
We're done here.
Yeah.
The prosecution rests. That is as rural, as tiny a layer of government as you can possibly get. That is the thing we are now told is going to suffer and die if this property tax reform plan passes. And right there, he just said, it is not a revenue problem. He makes the case that we've been saying for years on this show that no matter how much money you give these local governments, no matter how much money you give these cities,
they're just going to want more.
Right, the schools, it's never going to stop. You have to stop it. Ron in the legislature has to stop it this year with that property tax plan, and he has admitted it, and just send that to every lawmaker, and we're done here.
Yeah.
We're done here.
So following Governor Braun's inaugural State of the State address, State Senator Mike Gaskell, he said that he is supporting the governor's stance, and this is specific to local taxes. His quote is, after serving 6 years in the state Senate and helping pass several tax cuts, it's been disappointing to see that those tax cuts dwarfed by increases in local taxes.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so we'll have that full interview for you. We're going to get into township government. And it's a really good back and forth. We don't agree on everything, but I thought it was a very productive conversation. We'll play the whole thing at 10 o'clock, but we had to play that for you out of the gate because he's saying that is a local government person saying the thing. You can't villainize us. You can't say it's us making it up. That's a guy that lives in the world every single day. We're done. We're done here. Okay, rest of the show. Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your show. We had to leave. We had to leave with that.
And they're sitting on surplus there as well.
Yeah.
So he knows it. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hear the news.
Mid-air collision Wednesday night near Washington, D.C. Recovered more than half the bodies.
Another update is just minutes away.
Woman from Indiana on board the plane that collided with the helicopter.
A recent Indiana University graduate.
On the level.
April Brown, Eric Reed, Stephanie Reeves, and Anthony Strahl.
Child exploitation.
From Greenfield, child and animal sex abuse ring. Graphic images and videos.
On the go.
Nice weekend. Temperatures in the mid-50s.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textline.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text CARE to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text CARE to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text CARE to 200-300. That's CARE to 200-300. CARE to 200-300.
Jewelry Gram, it's your friends at Shane Company here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. We have just the right gift for your sweetheart, like heart-shaped necklaces, birthstones, or diamond studs. Getting engaged? Create a dream ring and choose from natural rubies, colorful sapphires, and natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our unmatched free lifetime warranty and everyday competitive prices. Come visit us in-store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
I'm Patrick McCaffrey, basketball player at Butler University.
In 2023, I stepped away from the game and got professional help when anxiety started to overwhelm me. If you're having a mental health crisis, assistance is available for you too. Just call the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, where a trained specialist will give you immediate support. That's what helped me, and it can help you too. Call 988. When you need someone who gets you, they got you.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Reach your fitness goals in 2025 with a 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Two sources confirmed to CBS News that one air traffic controller was working and managing the helicopters and planes, a job that was normally done by 2 people, when that American Airlines plane collided with that Army Black Hawk helicopter near Reagan National Airport yesterday and crashed into the Potomac River. It has been reported now that a Carmel woman was among the 67 people that was killed when that plane crash occurred. And you have to ask yourself, because many people are, is this accidental? Is this incompetent? Is it intentional? Is there terrorism involved? Is this DEI, or was this just a mistake?
Well, so this a couple things. One, some people are up in arms over Trump's press conference yesterday. And if he's got what he claims to have, then screw that. Put it out there. Don't sugarcoat anything. If people are dead because of incompetence of people who shouldn't have been hired and were hired based on things other than their skill set, then don't hold it back. Put it out there. Now, the onus is now on him to produce that. But so I'm not a person who gets all wrapped up in, you should just say everything's okay and we'll get to the bottom of it if you're already to the bottom of it. If you've got the evidence and you know that there was some egregious mistake made by somebody who should not have been in that position, then call it out and name it. That's what I would want as a family member. Tony played this morning the confirmation hearing of the gentleman who was nominated by Biden to be the head of the FAA. And it was a fascinating conversation. Like, these are the things that go under the radar, and then you pull them out years later and go, ooh, probably should have paid more attention to that, right?
There were red flags all over.
So, Bud, he's a senator from North Carolina, Republican, was grilling this guy, and he's asking him these very basic questions that any person with a remote knowledge of aviation and flight, etc., should know. And this guy just can't answer any of these questions.
Well, I believe he even admitted during the confirmation hearing, I'm not an aviation expert.
Right.
Why are you being chosen to run the FAA?
This is a great example of someone who has just been elevated as a career bureaucrat based on he always looked the part, or he always kept his head down at the right time, or he just kept getting, moved up the ladder, not on clearly any sort of, intricate knowledge of the position or the career in which he was being elevated. And when you hear a person who can't offer the most basic of answers on basic questions, you realize, well, how does that then trickle down to the rank and file in these positions? Clearly, somebody or somebodies, plural, likely somebodies, plural, made horrible mistakes that led to this death. Now, I also agree with Tony. I don't think it's unfair to go, we should be questioning, was this terrorism?
Mm-hmm.
That does not make you a conspiracy theorist or a tinfoil hat person to say, I'd like to know, is this terrorism? And let's rule that out and show me the evidence that this wasn't terrorism. Then once we've operated off of that and ruled out terrorism, okay, who made the mistakes and why? It appears that there are multiple people who did do things incorrectly, and one of them you may not be able to hold accountable anymore because they tragically lost their life in this event. But there may be others who also did, and they should be held to full account. And we as a country deserve to know and how that's going to be corrected.
So it's been reported that investigators recovered the 2 black boxes from the wreckage and the flight data recorder and also cockpit voice recorder. But then on the news, we just heard from SecDev Pete Hegseth saying that they haven't received the black boxes yet. So is the fact that they've retrieved them and they just haven't been passed along. And at this point, everybody and their brother is an expert in aviation. Everybody wants to weigh in on their morsel of knowledge that they have. And that doesn't help anybody get to the bottom of things.
No. And
all it does is just add to the noise.
Well, and another, again, total novice here looking at it from the outside in. It's amazing to me, given all the restrictions in order to board an airplane and fly on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And we can debate whether those are helpful or not, right? I don't fly. And things like this, look, I get that there have been something like 150 million flights since the last plane crash, right? I mean, statistically, it's incredibly safe to fly. But I look at this and the horrific end that these people suffered, and this is why I don't fly. Like, I get logically how minuscule the odds are that would happen to you. But then I see this and go, this in my OCD neurotic mind,
you want to be in charge of your own
it reinforces
destiny.
why I don't fly, right? These people did nothing wrong. You're literally getting ready to land. My dad and I were talking about this yesterday. Think about these people's end. For me, when I was on that flight 2.5 years ago, whatever it's been since I last flew, the moment you can see the ground and you're getting ready to land, you're like, oh, I made it. These people, if you're someone who had a fear of flying or whatever, you're like, oh man, we made it, great. And then you didn't make it. Right?
Well, to your point,
feeds the phobia.
To your point, the woman in Carmel had sent a text to her husband that said, "We're landing in 20 minutes."
Right. I'm not saying the phobia is right. This is what obsessive compulsive disorder does to people. I'm not saying the phobia is correct. I'm saying this feeds every phobia that I have about what can happen on an airplane. But for me, as an outsider looking in, of all the restrictions on flying in order to fly that you have to go through to board an airplane, and yet we just let these helicopters fly right next to airplanes? Really? We go to all of these links to ensure that flights are safe, and then you've got these helicopters just taking off and landing right around airplanes?
Well, and when you have the president coming out saying, oh, this is a DEI mistake, this is why this happened, do you want to get on a plane right now?
Hey! My neurotic mind is looking better and better by the day, isn't it, Casey? Isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, think about these. If indeed it comes out that some unqualified person was engaged in making a mistake that caused this thing to happen, yeah, it feeds the narrative of the old, I don't even want to say it right now because, what I call the airplanes, right? You're totally it's out of your hands. Once you're on that airplane, you're 100% in somebody else's hands. And it's just, I hate this. I hate everything about this. I hate that maybe some member of the military inadvertently made a mistake. I hate that some person who's supposed to be trusted in a position of authority, with the FAA may have made a mistake. I just hate all of this, that these people needlessly lost their lives. I hate every single part of this.
Well, and it's heartbreaking to think about. I know that there was a mom and a son who were on the flight, and so the husband has lost half his family.
Oh, it's just
siblings who have lost.
It's all
brothers
awful.
And sisters.
It's all awful, and so hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it. But in the meantime, you're right, Casey. You got to keep your focus on these people who did nothing wrong, who thought they were in the clear. Hey, just a normal flight in and out, and now they're not. They're not with us anymore. All right. One of the things that's been going on at Capitol Hill, and it kind of got brushed by the wayside in terms of media because of the horrific airplane crash, is the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. hearing.
2 days worth.
Yeah, I mean it was just a you know what show. And we have a friend of the show who was actually in the room.
Yeah.
Our old friend Monica Boyer, she's dedicated much of the last half decade plus to health and healthy living. And we've told her story before about how she really turned her life around and all the weight she lost. And now she's a health coach. And she felt compelled of her own volition, her own dime.
She wanted to be there.
To fly to Washington, D.C. to try to help in any way she could. And she was in the room for those hearings. So we're going to talk with her next about what just a complete you-know-what show that was.
Yeah, what's it like to be in the room during a Senate confirmation hearing? We're going to hear a firsthand account coming up next on 93 WIBC.
Hi, it's Pastor Nathan from Life Church here with my beautiful wife, Christina.
Hello, we are so excited to let you know about our upcoming marriage conference.
You know, we've been married for 25 years, and that doesn't happen without intentionality and hard work.
That's right. So no matter where you are in your marriage, or even if you're looking to get married, you'll want to join us on February 21st and 22nd.
You can get more information at lifechurchin.com and make your marriage a priority as you start off 2025.
Health gives you the ability to love more, feel more, be more. Health gives you the ability to live an extraordinary life. Because every day, no matter the challenges, is a chance to breathe, laugh until your belly aches, cry because you care so much, and experience everything that makes your life truly extraordinary. For 150 years, Franciscan Health has been there, watching extraordinary lives unfold. Love your extraordinary life.
Why not start 2025 with a great new deal from Tom Roush Lincoln? Select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, now $12,000 off, and get 0% for 72 months. How about an all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, now $6,000 off with rates starting at 4.9% for 60 months. So start the new year with a new car from Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Lincoln Navigator MSRP 104,825. Lincoln Nautilus MSRP 61,695. Offers good through January 31st, 2025. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They've found the recordings. Radar showing some spotty showers still sticking around. It's cloudy and 46 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Recovery efforts continue today after Wednesday night's plane crash near Washington, D.C., in which over 60 people were killed. Dozens of bodies have been pulled from the Potomac River. The American Airlines jet collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. Searchers say they have recovered the plane's black box. More hostages have been released in Gaza. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
Among the three being released is Keith Siegel, the American Israeli from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He was taken from Kibbutz Kfar Aza on October 7th, as was his wife, who has already been released. After her return, she said when she left, Keith had been severely injured. Among the Americans still being held by Hamas, Sagi Dekelchen and Idan Alexander. The bodies of 4 Americans haven't yet been returned. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Elon Musk is announcing plans for Tesla's robo-taxi. The self-driving taxi is set to launch in parts of California by the end of this year, with an earlier rollout in Texas this summer. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Despite December inflation data, stocks are increasing today. The Dow is up 77 to 45,132. The Nasdaq up 141 to 21,766. And the S&P 500 is up 20 to 6,119. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Discussing end-of-life matters can be uncomfortable, but it's also necessary to ensure that loved ones' wishes are well known ahead of time. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. Up next, I'll share suggestions to help ease anxiety surrounding the talk.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Direct, open, and honest conversation is the best way to discuss end-of-life wishes. Knowing your loved one's preferred treatments and desired arrangements will ready everyone for when the time comes. Also helpful, creating a will or trust to ensure assets are distributed accordingly. And consider an end-of-life doula to assist your family during the process. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through March 23rd, get Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract when you add an unlimited mobile line. Plus, get free Wi-Fi equipment included for 2 years. Switch today and join the network that delivers gig speed to the most homes. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan auto pay start bank account. Taxes and fees extra. $40 internet discount applied to mobile bill. After 12 months, internet rate increases to $65. After 24 months, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Amber and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
I've been stumbling on good hearts turn to stone. The road of good intentions is gone dry as a bone. We take care of our own.
Casey, you know those RFK hearings, boy, they got a little wild and wacky.
Yeah, it's been 2 full days of yelling at each other.
And that was your man. I mean, you probably were sitting there just in tears as your mans, who you once, I mean, let's face it, you guys had a thing.
Well, you know, he had a thing for me, if we're going to be truly honest. He put his arm around me, and I mean, what am I going to do?
That's
Stop
right.
him?
I mean somebody might have said
it
was a bit aggressive to literally dig your nails into his chest, but
he held his own, though. He held his own, Rob.
Well, you know, and all kidding aside, it was pretty ridiculous and pathetic, some of the attacks from the Democrats. So the big question now is, what happens and what are the tea leaves looking like out there in Washington?
Yeah.
And well, we got somebody who was there for it.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Our old friend Monica Boyer, you know, she's a great promoter of health, a health coach. We've had her on the program before, told her tale where she just several years ago decided she was going to get her life back on track and lost just tons and tons of weight and is now a health coach for people across the state of Indiana. And she, of her own volition, her own dime, flew out there to Washington, D.C. to be there to try to help in any way possible. She joins us now on the WIBC hotline. Monica, remind everybody, how much weight did you lose?
Well, first of all, I'm going to ignore the fact that you called me an old friend. So we're going to ignore that.
You've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, I have lost 130 pounds in 2017, and it changed my life for the better forever. And so I don't know if it's just the fact of the whole property tax fiasco you've got going on there of pushing people to actually act, but I couldn't stay silent. I had to get off. I had to go beyond being a keyboard warrior, and I had to be there because I believe in this message. I believe in his message, and I believe that lives are about to change here in this country. And so, yeah, it was exciting. It was wild, but it was exciting. I don't regret the 2 a.m. Flight home yesterday at all. So,
all right, so take us through kind of, first of all, why you think, because you're a person obviously who has dedicated your life the past 7 or 8 years to health and healthy living, and you're now coaching other people to live healthy lifestyles. Take us through from your perspective, as somebody who's kind of become a bit of an expert in this field, why you think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is good for this position.
well, he's saying the things that we have said for years, and the things that I walk my clients through every single day, that it is possible to reverse type 2 diabetes. It's possible to reverse PCOS. We don't have to live with these diagnoses that we have lived and we've kind of held onto as a crutch of I've got this disease. We don't have to live like that anymore. And he gave us the voice that nobody is talking about because of big pharma and big food. We've just adapted, to the fact that we're going to be sick, and that has become our identity. And this man is saying, no, it doesn't have to become your identity. You don't have to live like this. We're being poisoned. We're being told lies. And so I couldn't help it. I could not help but go and support this man who's giving us a voice for the first time since I've done this. So,
Monica, I'm curious, were you supporting Kennedy during his presidential campaign?
Oh, my gosh, it's funny. I stood in line with hundreds of people yesterday. It was wild. I've been involved in politics a long time. It was wild to stand in line with these people. These people that I was standing in line with just to get in the room were Democrats. They were independents. They were from New York. These poor people I heard so many stories from the hell they went through in New York. These were like almost cultish people who loved Bobby. And I had to look them in the face and say, oh my gosh, you all, I didn't know about this man until Trump brought him on. And so I'm from red state. I am from a red state. We had horrible things that we went through, but it was not like New York. And I had to apologize and say, I didn't know who this man was until Trump. So no, I'm a new person on this train. And they welcomed me. They were like, oh, please come, please. We don't care.
So I'm curious, walk me through the mechanics of how you found yourself in the room during the confirmation hearing.
Oh, I 100% believe it was a God thing because I was working with Senator Banks' office, and they were really, really supportive when I flew in. They're like, let us know what we can do to get you in. There's like, I think you should be there about 8:00. I woke up that morning first thing, and I'm like, I'm thinking that 8:00 thing is not the case. And so I left my hotel room at about 5:30 to go stand in line of what I thought, well, this is foolish. I'm going to be out there by myself. When I got there, there were people that had been sleeping there. And so it was something that was the right choice to make. I was one of probably the last 10 people that were able to get in the room.
So before we get on to more questions about the actual hearing, I wanted to ask you, last time I was in Washington, D.C. was the inauguration, and security was very tight in the city. Did you feel the same way?
No. I felt safe. I felt very, very safe, but there was not. Now, when we got into, the Senate quarters and all of that, then, yeah, we had a lot of security. There was no way anything was getting in, but I felt very safe. It wasn't tightened down like it was the weekend before.
Monica Boyer's our guest. She's a health coach. We've detailed her incredible journey on this program before. Now helps Hoosiers across the state get their health back. She was in Washington, D.C. for the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. confirmation hearings this week, talking a little bit about what it was like to be in the room. All right, so we all know the Democrats were disgraceful. We expected that. They don't really matter. In the end, it's the Republicans have the votes to do whatever they want to do. They don't need the Democrats. Were you kind of able to read the tea leaves? How are you feeling about this? Do you think he'll get confirmed?
I think it's still up in the air. In fact, one of our senators won't even tell us where he stands. We have not heard from Todd Young. He's posted pictures of himself with Bobby on his Facebook, but we don't know where Todd Young stands. And so he concerns me a little bit. I think it's going to be very, very close. I think it probably will be another we possibly may have to call in J.D. Vance for a tiebreaker. I could be wrong, but it's the tea leaves are that it's close. I think Tulsi is in more trouble, but I think that we have a possibility. We're just not there yet.
So this is what's interesting to me, Monica, is because everybody says they want bipartisanship. Everybody's like, oh, laments the culture in Washington, and nobody walks across the aisle. So in the case of, you mentioned Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you have two lifelong Democrats who Trump says, I want them a part of my administration. Mm-hmm. And then it's all controversial and it's all razor thin on whether people are going to vote for them. It just is so full of crap these people are.
Yeah. And I think, and it is the coolest thing that I am watching. In fact, I learned so much just standing in the hallway with these people who have been lifelong Democrats. I sat next to a woman who had tears running down her eyes. I didn't know who she was. She just grabbed onto my arm and she said, I have been a lifelong Democrat for my entire life. I am so sorry about this. I hate these people. And she was speaking of the Democrats who were going after him. Democrat after Democrat. There is no party line here on this message of freedom. And I was so refreshed when I came home. The Republicans better get their act together, and they better hear this new movement, because it's a movement unlike anything I have ever seen. These people do not care about party lines. They care about the message. And they were so angry. And I am just as angry on the Republican side at our message, because we are not hearing the message of freedom as well. So we both better get our acts together on this thing.
As you were sitting in the gallery, were you given any instructions like turn off your cell phone or anything like that? And what questions surprised you the most?
Yeah, we were. In fact, we sat right behind. I don't know if you watched it live, but there was a group of purple-haired nurses that got carted out. It was actually a machine. They knew what they were going to do when they went in there, and we saw them nod their heads to the next one who was going to scream out. But any clapping that happened, the police were right there and said, "You have one chance, and you're out of here," even on our side. And so, yeah, it was very, very controlled, and there were, it was a very organized protester. But the thing that surprised me, I guess it shouldn't surprise me, there is a theme of how to crash this thing, and it was through the vaccine conversation. They refused to talk about why we were there, which was chronic disease. I mean, vaccines is part of that, and he's not an anti-vaxxer. And they wanted to spin it into an act, because that is their message that can move their message is we're going to kill everybody because he is anti-vax. And the fact they would not talk about chronic disease or reversing these things that are keeping our children sick. And that is the message that moved the people, was the fact that 66% of our children are sick suddenly. Why is that? They would not talk about that. They just kept driving the point to anti-vax, and he moved it back. He kept trying to move it back, but I think we could have done that a lot better. I don't know how he could have, but it needs to be about chronic disease. It's much more than just anti-vax.
Monica, we got about 20 seconds left. I'm kind of torn on this because I think I'd like to see Kennedy get approved. However, if Todd Young votes no, I think that will be the end of Todd Young. So really, Casey, I'm in a no-lose situation here.
You're kind of hoping he votes no.
I thought the same thing, because I am ready to go. I do not like politics anymore, but that will call me back into. It's time for the man to go. So I'm kind of with you on that.
There are very few people I fear in Indiana politics, Casey, but Monica Boyer is one of them. I would definitely not want her to be mad at me. Monica, thank you for spending a few minutes with us and telling us what the hearing was like, and it's very cool you got to be there, and thanks for going out there.
I appreciate you guys so much. You have a great day.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Monica. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
We're going to have fun this afternoon. It's the Hammer and Nigel show. We crack the mic at 3:06. Biggest stories in Indy, but we're going to have a little Royal Rumble fun, and we're going to do Beer Sample Friday every single hour, okay? 93 WIBC.
All right, let's talk about one of the great Hoosiers across the state of Indiana, the great Mark Dietel. Recent talk about rising interest rates and economic uncertainty may have you wondering if now is the right time to sell your home. Will I get the price I need? Will it take too long? The good news, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. There is a friendly, no pressure, experienced agent who eats and sleeps Indianapolis real estate. His name is Mark Dietel. Perhaps you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Crystal and Franklin had to say about working with Mark Dietel. Was moving to Kentucky and needed to move fast. I got the Mark Dietel marketing plan and was blown away. The plan worked. I got a full list price offer in the first weekend. Just like that, Mark and his team got it done. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. It's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Dents happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal that saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry X's, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it. by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Texas 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
Life-changing discovery should never be left to chance. IU Indianapolis is Indiana's premier urban research university, home to 50 research centers and institutes, which means our students don't just study groundbreaking research, they make their very own breakthroughs from day one. We're here to make the future happen. Bring on tomorrow. IU Indianapolis. Discover what's next at go.iu.edu/breakthrough.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Well, Rob, it looks like Todd Rokita may be in some hot water.
Oh, darn.
Nikki Kelly from Indiana Capital Chronicle is reporting, and this just happened moments ago.
Wait, Casey, I'm gonna pull myself together. Hang on.
You need a tissue?
Todd Rokita might be in trouble for being a blowhard and not being able to keep his big yapper shut. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Just let me kick my feet back here.
Okay?
Yeah, for those of you on the YouTube chat, you'll be able to see this. I'm actually going to kick my feet back with a big old smile on my face.
You got some tissues right
there.
there.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Todd Rokita might be in big trouble. Go ahead. Go on.
The Indiana Supreme Court Disciplinary Commission has filed charges again against him. Now, this case is about improper comments he made about that abortion doctor in Indiana.
Okay, so let's remind everybody what happened. So Rokita, because look, Todd Rokita is the last guy who should be Attorney General because he is a politician through and through. And the Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer for the state, which means you should want somebody whose sole premise and purpose is to enforce the laws of the state of Indiana and the state constitution. Period. Full stop. Todd Rokita lives to see and hear himself, and as such, he behaves oftentimes with zero restraint whatsoever, and his first instinct is what is the politically expedient thing to do rather than what is my actual job. And so he got himself in hot water, what is it? It's been a year, maybe 2 years ago, when that abortion doctor essentially, she was broadcasting it. She was letting, I think it was IndyStar know that she had performed that abortion on the, whatever she was, 10-year-old girl or whatever it was from Ohio.
Yeah.
And so Rokita, who ultimately this woman was disciplined by the medical licensing board. Instead of doing his job, which is, okay, this woman may have done some pretty serious stuff, let's investigate it, and then let's bring the hammer down on this woman once we have all the facts ready to go and straight and lined up, and let's get the best, biggest penalty we can against this woman. He sprints to Fox News and starts flapping his gums about the case, which is in direct conflict with what he's supposed to do as a person of the law, as a lawyer in the state of Indiana. And ultimately, he was reprimanded by the Supreme Court. Now, part of what he had to do in that reprimand to avoid, because in the state of Indiana, you have to have a law license to be Attorney General. And the disciplinary commission is who oversees attorneys in the state of Indiana. When attorneys do something that's against their code, creed, whatever, there is a disciplinary commission who recommends things to the state Supreme Court, and then ultimately the 5 Supreme Court justices rule based on disciplinary commissions like the prosecutor, right? So the Supreme Court gave Rokita a reprimand in exchange for him admitting, yeah, hey, I did these things wrong, I shouldn't have. Everybody going their merry way. Well, because Rokita can't ever be challenged, he can't stand for somebody to say, hey, you didn't do something right. As soon as he gets this reprimand where he essentially is admitting that he did something wrong in exchange for the reprimand to not lose his law license, he puts out this press release or whatever it was, basically saying,
contradicting
it. I didn't do anything wrong, and I just basically did this to move this thing on down the road. And so a bunch of people were like, wait a second, you signed an affidavit that said you did something wrong in exchange for the reprimand. You can't then say, I didn't do anything wrong, because you admitted in this reprimand that you did something wrong.
Right. So they said that the retraction of acceptance of responsibility demonstrates that the respondent was not candid with the court. So now the charges are false statements to the Supreme Court in condition of that agreement.
So he's tried to downplay this for a year now because he is such a blowhard and he never thinks he's going to get what's coming to him. This is a big deal because essentially what they're saying is you lied on this affidavit. You can't come out and say you didn't do anything wrong when you signed this affidavit that says I did the thing wrong. That was the deal. You got out and you didn't lose your law license or get your law license suspended in exchange for you saying I did this and I'll learn from this and I'm going to, move on down the road.
But he didn't move on.
Right. And this is the thing I've been telling you guys for years about Rokita. He was fine he was actually a really good Secretary of State. He was fine as a congressman. He would have been fine as a senator. He has no business being attorney general. None whatsoever. And it bit him in the backside once because he can't control himself, and it's about to probably bite him in the backside again. And I would be very surprised if they don't go for the law license this time. And if he loses the law license, now Curtis Hill got his law license suspended and was able to remain attorney general. But I have a sneaking suspicion because I think last time, if somebody correct me if I'm wrong, two of the 5 justices wanted to take the law license or at least suspend his law license, and they got talked out of it. Those other 3 are not going to have any patience this time because they gave him a chance.
Fool me once.
And by the way, the bigger thing of all this is that woman, that abortion doctor, probably got less of a penalty in front of the medical licensing board
than he
because
did.
of all this drama Rokita caused, rather than if he just kept his mouth shut and done his job and gone after through the legal maneuvering, legal proceedings available to him. This is everything we've been telling. Least favorite part of the show.
Yeah, when we have to say that we were right. So Rokita's going to defend himself in this. The case is going to go before a hearing officer, which is going to be a public hearing. And then that officer is going to recommend the punishment to the Indiana Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to have the ultimate say in what
best
happens.
thing that could happen to this state is they yank his law license from him, that he can't be attorney general anymore, and then Braun would be able to put an adult in that position who actually cares about the position, which is not to see yourself on television, which is not to try to get as many press headlines as you possibly can, which is to just quietly, in a professional and businesslike manner, enforce the laws and the Constitution of the state of Indiana, which is what we should want from every prosecutor in our
If
state.
you're Governor Braun right now, you just got to be shaking your head.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, Chad Ellis, he is a township trustee in very rural White River Township in Gibson County in southwestern Indiana. We're going to debate township government. We're going to talk about property taxes. We're going to talk about local governments. Are they sitting on too much money? It's going to be wild and wacky, Casey.
It's coming up with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
AAA not only is the best at helping you out with flat tires, roadside assistance, replacing my dead batteries at work, but they can also plan some amazing vacations. And with all this snow and ice, I'm ready for a trip to Universal Studios with the family in Florida. You know what I mean? No matter where you're headed, AAA can help you get the best price on your next vacation at the AAA Travel Expo, Saturday, February 22nd at the Ritz-Charles in Carmel.
It's free. You don't even have to be a AAA member to attend. Although members love additional benefits like 24/7 365 roadside assistance. So save the date right now for the AAA Travel Expo 2025, Saturday, February 22nd at the Rich Charles in Carmel. Find your dream vacation at Indiana's favorite travel show. Bring a friend and enjoy the day. Get more information and pre-register for your chance to win a $500 AAA travel voucher at AAA.com/expo.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
Coming home to a cold house in the dead of winter isn't just inconvenient, it's expensive. For over 60 years, thousands of Hoosiers have trusted B&W to catch their problems early and keep their families warm and safe. Call 317-214-0108 or go to bplusw.com for fast, reliable service today.
That's 317-214-0108. B&W, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show returns to Grand Park February 7th through 9th. Find inspiration from over 200 exhibitors, artisans, and crafters. SuburbanIndieshows.com.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-210-8808. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808.
Coming up in 2 minutes, this Hoosier senator weighs in on the plane crash in D.C. Plus, Indiana's attorney general is back on the hot seat with the state Supreme Court. And this advocacy group says some bills at the State House are too similar to some controversial writings. That and more coming up. You're listening to 93 WYBC, WYBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
There are still a lot of questions after the mid-air collision near Washington, D.C. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. There's a lot of focus on the Army Black Hawk helicopter that slammed into an American Airlines regional plane about to land. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth tells Fox they don't know yet
who was talking, who was on the comms, who was piloting, and then what, if any, confusion was there at the end, right? We're looking at altitude.
President Trump posted on Truth Social a short time ago the helicopter was flying too high by a lot, far above the 200-foot limit.
There's also an internal report within the FAA which suggests the staffing levels inside the tower at Reagan Airport may not have been at the right levels.
Fox's Mark Meredith near the airport says they've recovered the plane's black boxes, but not all the bodies yet. Of the 67 people killed on both aircraft, divers back in the water today.
Salvaging what's left of the American Airlines regional jet as well as the helicopter that collided into each other right here above the Potomac just on Wednesday evening.
President Trump has already fired some Justice Department prosecutors who worked for special counsel Jack Smith on his investigations that led to 2 Trump federal indictments since dropped. Now, he's getting ready for an FBI purge.
The exact number of FBI officials told to resign or lose their jobs has not been disclosed, but Fox News has confirmed an ultimatum was delivered to senior Bureau employees promoted by former Director Christopher Wray. An email to colleagues from one of those agents, reported by the New York Times, says he learned he'd be dismissed as soon as Monday morning and was given no rationale for the decision.
Fox's Jared Halpern of the White House. The president also plans to impose 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico starting tomorrow. tomorrow. Trump critics warn that'll lead to higher consumer prices. And we just got a report this morning showing
that inflation is still a problem. So the December PCE price index rose 0.3% month over month, in line with estimates, but hotter than the previous month. If you look at year over year, it's up 2.6%, marking 3 straight months of no progress on inflation.
Fox Business's Lauren Simonetti. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She was on the plane. Radar still has some spotty showers on it. It's a little foggy. 47 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Senator Jim Banks says a woman from Indiana was on board the plane that collided with a helicopter in D.C.
Well, obviously, a very sad situation. We just found out minutes ago that a Hoosier was on that plane, a recent Indiana University graduate.
He tells WIBC's Hammer and Nigel her husband had posted a video on social media waiting for her at the airport before anybody had known what happened. Charges have again been filed against Attorney General Todd Rokita by the state Supreme Court's Disciplinary Commission. The charges pertain to accusations from the High Court that Rokita signed an affidavit admitting to official misconduct, only to publicly state after the fact he did nothing wrong. The court says Rokita had not been candid during his disciplinary hearing. A former college football coach in Indiana is facing a legal battle. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Ryan Walters, the former Purdue football coach, and his wife Tara are selling their nearly $5 million home, but it's not as simple as it sounds. The builder, Steve Schrader Homes, is suing them, saying that they didn't live up to the contract that they signed in 2023. The couple says that they were misled into signing something they didn't fully understand, and that the design and the cost of the home were never finalized. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Walters and his wife are now countersuing. Project 2025 is a set of conservative policy recommendations put forth by the Heritage Foundation a few years ago. Katie Rector with Mad Voter tells Wish TV that some bills in the State House are similar to Project 2025, and she finds them concerning.
Those bills represent sort of a wider influence of Project 2025 interests in terms of imposing a singular view of morality on other people.
Republican House Speaker Todd Houston says he's never read Project 2025. The Indiana Hoosiers and Purdue Boilermakers square off on the hardwood tonight. Tip-off inside Mackey Arena in West Lafayette at 8 o'clock. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The new year means new deals at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. This is where you get your next Ford car, truck, SUV, EV, or fleet vehicle. Elevate your journey right now with the new 2024 Ford Expedition Platinums. Save over $15,000 off MSRP. Equipped with a high-output 3.5-liter EcoBoost, it delivers up to 400 horsepower for commanding performance. And with the premium leather-trimmed interior and wood accents, you're sure to enjoy your time on the road. Need something a little smaller but still enough room? Check out the new 2024 Ford Edge SE. Save over $6,500 off MSRP. You got to check out everything going on at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Get more to your door. Simply purchase your vehicle online and they'll deliver it directly to you. Visit the showroom, 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield, or online at andymoreford.com. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R.
I love Andy.
andymoreford.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, Casey, there's been a lot of talk about property taxes in the state of Indiana. And as you know, our show's been kind of right there at the forefront of that.
Yeah, exactly. And it was mentioned right at the beginning of the governor's State of the State address.
Yeah. So one of the things we've talked about is areas that there may be inefficiencies in state government, the areas there may be certainly inefficiencies in local governments. And one of the places we've kind of looked at and said, I think we could do a lot better or maybe even do without are our township governments. And we've questioned, hey, what services do township governments provide that people maybe couldn't get from somebody else? We've talked about how, according to the Gateway website, we've had one of the trustees here in Indiana who kind of agrees with us. Say, hey, according to the Gateway, they're sitting on $774 million in reserves. Yeah. And we said, yeah, I think we'd like to have that conversation. And we have a person who raised their hand and said, I'll be happy to come on and have that conversation.
Yeah.
So his name is Chad Ellis. He is a township trustee, White River Township down in Gibson County, which is southwest Indiana, down towards Evansville. Chad joins us now on the WIBC hotline. Chad, how's it going?
I'm doing well.
All right, so can you give us an idea of the township that you oversee? Because as we said, it's Gibson County, southwest Indiana. The number of constituents that you have in White River Township.
Yes, sir. We have a population of approximately 1,700 people. There are 2 municipal towns within our township. However, they are very, very small, as you can imagine, with a population of 1,700. We do have a U.S. highway that we service and a state highway that we service as well. And no, we're not a very large township.
Okay, so let's kind of start from this premise, because I think one of the things people look at when they see, hey, townships are sitting on $774 million. That came from one of your own trustees. It hasn't been refuted by anybody in township government that we've asked. Do you think that's right, that a layer of government in the state of Indiana should be sitting on $774 million in reserves?
Well, my first question would be, do you know how many townships Indiana has?
Well, there's 92 counties. So, I mean, if you want to extrapolate that out by, 92 counties, that's basically $8-ish million per county. Some townships some counties have, 10 townships. Some have 15. It kind of depends on where you're at. But, I mean, it comes out to, on an average. I get that that's not exactly per county, but $8 million a county.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And most, I did a little bit of research myself. Most entities are sitting on quite a bit of cash. Whether they can use it or not, or choose to use it or not, is actually it's regulated by the DLGF. How much you can spend at one time, even if you have that money on hand, they regulate how you spend that extra money. And once you bring your tax rates down to try to spend that money, they tell us that you cannot raise it back up in a timely manner if you need it. So I think that some government entities hang on to their funds, if you will, their excess funds, and not hoping for a rainy day, but preparing for a rainy day, if you will.
Okay, Chad, that's a little surprising that you just said that, they're just sitting on these extra funds and praying for a rainy day, saving for a rainy day. What would be a scenario which would be that rainy day?
Well, I can give you, for an example, here, our biggest expense by far in this township is fire protection. As you know, or I assume that township trustees are responsible for fire protection in their areas. That's been a long-standing government directive that the township trustees are to be the ones to provide it. Now, if they sub that out to, say, other cities or now fire territories, that type of thing, it is still their job. So, I could go into the public safety side of this if you'd like, how costs have risen dramatically just in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years. Fire trucks that used to cost $250,000 10 years ago are now $750,000, and we're required to replace them every 15 years.
Okay, so you just said you're required to replace them every 15 years. Costs of the trucks go up every 5 years. So the math isn't mathing. You're not buying a new truck every year.
Right. But we can't afford a new truck every year. We can't even, in our case here, we can't even afford a payment on a single truck. And most fire departments, if you've been to a fire station, there's more than one truck in there.
Okay, so Chad Ellis is our guest. It's a great conversation. He's a township trustee in White River Township in Gibson County, southwest Indiana. So this is the kind of the crux of the conversation, Chad, which is, can other government entities do these things and save the taxpayer some money? So, like where I live, our 2 townships, Brown and Lincoln Township, are sitting on $2 million. They have no premise other than they administer poor relief and they sit on a fire territory board. There's nothing that I see that couldn't be done. They've effectively cut their tax rates to zero because they don't. The money they get from the local income tax basically more than covers what they're doing. Am I wrong in saying we should really be looking at, can these services be administered by government entities that already exist and then give that money that's saved back to taxpayers?
I'm not going to disagree with you because I would say in a high population area, township government probably is redundant. In a very low population area like where we are, it's not what keeps the lights on, but it is the main service here. So
why couldn't the county? Okay, so like your statistics, and this again comes from Gateway, which is sort of the universally accepted reporting entity.
Yep.
So and I get that you guys have not reported yet for 24, but this goes back to 23. Right. You're a population of 1,700, as you said. You've got $235,000 plus in cash on hand as of December of 23. Yeah. You've got you brought in $286,000 in receipts. You dispersed $250,000. You kind of profited, for lack of a better term. And I'm not saying you're a bad guy in this. You're just doing what you're obligated to do. But your township was in a small, tiny township of 1,700 people was up $36,000. Couldn't the county government, which already exists, provide the fire service? They're already providing the sheriff's department, et cetera. Why couldn't they do that and we just eliminate this layer of government?
Well, there are 10 fire departments currently in Gibson County, and you have 3 county commissioners. So they would have to hire personnel. They would have to hire at least, I would say, 4, if not 6 people to oversee the fire departments. You would have to leave those fire stations in place to oversee all that. Now you're spending, right? Whereas, I don't know if you've looked up my salary as a township trustee. It's not much. Most people.
What is it? Just for clarification.
$50,000.
How much? What is your salary?
$9,000.
Okay. So, but that's my point. If the fire stations already exist, right? If these entities are already there, so like in the case of Brownsburg, where I live, but the town of Brownsburg essentially covers the overwhelming majority of where the fire departments already are. Why couldn't those existing fire departments just be administered by the county? It feels like there's a taxing entity here that exists that could be done by somebody else without the taxing entity.
You're talking about a taxing entity such as some counties that barely scrape by now. You're going to hand them a surplus amount of money and expect them to be financially responsible just because they got an injection of $250,000?
Well, if I'm told, and Chad Ellis is our guest, it's a great conversation, township trustee, Gibson County, White River Township. If I'm told we can't do property tax reform or bronze plan because police and fire are going to suffer, and there's this excess money that are sitting in these accounts, especially in our larger communities, then that money clearly could be going. If it's sitting there doing nothing, and we're told, oh my gosh, if property tax reform happens, all these police and fire are going to get fired, why wouldn't we release that money? I don't buy the doomsday scenario. You and I have had some great emails back and forth. I don't buy the doomsday scenario. There's plenty of money when we're building swimming pools and G League arenas and everything else. But let's accept that premise. If there's all that money sitting there, shouldn't it be released to the public safety, and then we could do everything everybody wants to do?
Now I'm in agreement with you. I could not agree more with that. We need to take the excess funds, the excess tax dollars that have been collected, and use it wisely and put it into places that it's needed. But as you know, when you give an entity more money, they're going to want more money down the road, right? So then what?
So I think we're in agreement, at least on this, right? That there's not a revenue problem. There's a disbursement and handling of money problem.
Yeah. Agreed. And again, I'm not saying this because I'm a township trustee. I don't think it's at this level. I think it's at all the levels.
We agree.
Wow.
This has been
an agreement. I was reading back through some of your posts yesterday, and I'm in very much agreement with you that property taxes are way out of control. If you add a 4% tax to somebody that makes only $60,000 a year, which I believe is the average income in the state of Indiana, you're talking about $2,400 a year. That's $1 an hour tax on these people that they're not getting $1 an hour raise every year, right? And inflation's up. Something's got to give.
Man, and Chad, I hate to have to cut this off. This has been a great conversation. We'd love to have you back again sometime soon. Maybe we can have you come up for an hour at somewhere. I know it's a kind of a trip for you, but I'd love to get into some more of the nuts and bolts of kind of township government, because I think this is an important conversation. But in the meantime, I'm just so glad that hearing you in this position kind of say the things that we've been saying, which is it's not a revenue problem.
It's a management problem.
It's a management problem, right, man? So we really appreciate you, Chad. Thank you for your time, and thanks for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Galloway throws up that little runner and knocks it down. Mackenzie Abako for three. Renew turns around, puts it up, and got it! Leo comes up with a loose ball and lays it in, and is fouled!
IU heads to Mackey Arena to take on the Boilermakers tonight.
Unbelievable play by
John Herrick has the pregame at 7. Don Fisher with the tip at 8.
He will let go a three-pointer and
on your home for IU basketball, 93 WIBC.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
When plumbing problems arise, you need them fixed fast and right. The LD Smith Plumbing crew knows how to put water in its place. We do it all, from the kitchen sink to delicate repairs in historic homes, and we'll always give you honest advice at a fair price. So if you're worried about the cost of plumbing repairs, call today for a free second opinion on a competitor's estimate.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
In almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it is a one and done. Because we don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
B is offering one bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
Is that Led Zeppelin movie out yet?
No, it actually comes out on February 6th.
And that's the IMAX?
Yeah, I think it will be in the IMAX theaters for about a week, and then it'll move on to the regular theaters.
Yeah, so there's a Led Zeppelin documentary.
Yeah.
It was put together several years ago. All the living members, including John Paul Jones, which is super rare, is involved in it. And for some reason, it sat on the shelf for several years, and now it's like heading to theaters. It's a mixture of interviews and then concert footage and and I guess it's debuts at the IMAX, and then it goes to the regular theaters.
You don't seem like you'd be the type of person who was a big Led Zeppelin fan.
Oh, I was. Yes.
Were
yes,
you?
yes. Well, and you're saying this, and thank you, Casey. This is quite the honor because I'm such a thinking man's, I'm such a thinking man that the thinking man's artists are the people that I'm drawn to, the people who really make you expand your mental horizons and what music is and what it means. And I take that as a compliment. Thank you. But my first concert I ever went to was Page and Plant at the old Market Square Arena.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
7th grade.
You going to go see this documentary?
Yeah. I think my old man wants to go see it. So we'll do a little father-son bonding.
Yeah.
And, everybody that was cool listened to Led Zeppelin in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
So, hey, people send you the most crazy things in the mail.
Well, we did that survey the other day from Justin Moad, my state representative.
Oh, yeah. We got to do that trip down memory lane with Moad. Remember the time he had a little problem with the internet? And
with some text messages. But Steve from Beech Grove sent me a survey that he received in the mail from his rep. And this one came from Aaron Freeman, serving Senate District 32.
That's Indianapolis for the persons like.
Now, let me just
District 32 be?
Tell you the big difference that I've noticed between the two surveys.
Show that to people on the YouTube feed there. They can see that. It's very nice.
Yep.
Is that
Steve
is that what we call cardboard stock? Is that it's very nice
thick stock.
Yeah.
I'm questioning. There's a big picture on the front here, and it's got the floor of the Senate at the State House. Yeah, it's like, here's the carpet.
I mean, they're just looking for ways to waste our money at this point, aren't they? I mean, think about it. So he sends this out, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing actually so little that I'm just going to put a photo of an empty state house and this very valuable taxpayer-funded real estate that I'm sending out here.
So I didn't notice any perforation on this one.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like Steve filled it out and tore it off and sent it in, which leads me to believe that at least Aaron Freeman is not asking his constituents to spend 73 cents on a stamp.
Yeah, but then
like
by the same token, though, we could make a case he actually cares less than Moed, because he didn't even ask your opinion on the form.
No, he did. It's a digital. You have to scan the QR code and then you go online.
So you gotta okay, you know how to do this. Do you think the average 70-year-old person knows how to execute a QR code? Kev, do you think an average 70-year-old person could execute a QR code to take this survey?
I don't think so.
No, there's no way.
No. Pull out the camera on your phone and scan it.
I mean,
and
when
then it
I
pops
saw
up a website.
Yeah, like when I saw the QR code for the first time, I was really confused.
Well, right. And like in our world or your world or whatever, I don't click links. I don't do those things. I could go anywhere, right? Could be sending you to Iran for all we know.
Yeah.
But the young people, like, they know, the together people, the technology people, they know how to do the QR codes.
Yeah.
But there's no way an average 70-year-old person who's probably filling that thing out knows how to do that.
He did include all of his contact information. You can call his office. You can write him. You can visit his virtual office.
How exciting.
All sorts of good stuff.
Okay,
right?
so you, because you're a person who is hip to technology, so you did scan the QR code. Is that correct?
I did, but here's one of the interesting things about this is he's got the survey with the QR code to tell him what you think your priorities are.
And the empty Senate chamber there.
Right.
Great use of taxpayer
Carpet
money.
of the floor.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, he has listed out his 25 legislative priorities.
Oh, his.
So it's like, these are mine. What are yours?
Oh, he's not even.
What, are we playing a match game here?
So he's not even like asking you. He's just telling you, this is what I'm doing.
Well, he did ask in the survey, and there are a couple more questions than Justin Moad had in his.
How exciting.
Shall we take it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. First question, which one of these taxes would you most like to see Indiana reduce, eliminate in the future? Gas tax, income tax, property tax, sales tax?
Property tax. But why do I have to choose? That would be my question.
All the taxes.
Yes.
Second question, the Indiana General Assembly will adopt a new 2-year state budget in 25. Please rank the following budget categories to show which ones should be higher priority for our state. 1 being the highest, 6 being the lowest. And here they are. Cutting taxes.
1.
Higher education.
6.
K through 12 education.
6.
Medicaid.
6.
Paying down debt.
That's a 1. That's fine.
Road maintenance.
They'll screw. See, this is the problem, though. I would say that's a 1, but I don't want you people to have more money because you'll just screw it up. So I guess that's maybe a middle.
Yeah.
It's a middle ground.
So you've got cutting taxes as your top
so
one.
let me be clear, though, like with the Medicaid, I want people to get the help who need it. I believe you have a bunch of leeches and bloodsuckers on the Medicaid rolls who don't need the help. So I'm going to make that a 6. Although I feel like then I'm hurting the people who I think need it, but I think there's so many bloodsuckers that don't need it that are getting the money. It's got to be a 6, right?
Okay.
And the higher education, I want the money to follow the kid. Like the higher education. I'm sorry, the K through 12 education. Give me the money.
Yeah.
If my public school is doing fine, I'll send my kid there. They get the money. If my public school is failing, I'll go somewhere else. That's how I want it to go. So it has to be a 6, right?
Yeah.
So all those are 6s.
They can't all be 6.
They can't all be 6?
No.
How do you know? Does it say?
Yeah, it says you got to rank them 1 through 6.
Oh, I got to rank them 1, 2, 6. What are they again?
Cutting taxes, which we have at
That's
the
one.
top.
Yep.
Higher education.
Okay.
K through 12 education. Medicaid. Paying down debt.
Yeah.
Road maintenance.
Okay, so I would go taxes 1, paying down debt 2, road maintenance 3. See, the problem with the debt, though, and this is where they're going to use this. See, they're using it against me. I know how these little vampires work. Is if I put that as 2, then they'll say, well, we used the surplus to pay down the debt instead of giving it back to you. So I'm darned if I do and I'm darned if I don't.
Right.
So maybe I'll flip a roost. Although the problem is if I make roads 2, then they'll say, well, we raise taxes because people want the roads.
Right, because we need more roads.
So I'm darned if I do. I'm darned if I'm done. Okay, so what if I had to do this? I guess I would do tax cuts. Tax. Is that what it was? Tax cuts.
Cutting taxes.
Paying down debt.
Yep.
Road maintenance. Then I would do Medicaid.
Okay.
K through 12. Higher education.
Okay.
The government has no business in paying for somebody to go to college. 0. That is your responsibility. You are an adult. You can work, you can walk, you can talk, you can save, you can spend. Your college is your responsibility, just as it was my responsibility. And yeah, it took me 6 years to get through it, but I did it because people can do things if you make them do them.
Fuel taxes are the main source of money.
Oh, there's more. Sorry.
Oh, there's more. There's plenty more. We got a few more to get through. Fuel taxes are the main source of money to pay for road construction and maintenance in Indiana, but electric vehicles do not pay fuel taxes.
Yeah.
Do you support or oppose collecting other types of fees on electric vehicles to make sure they help maintain our roads? Do you want to tax the EVs?
I support equitable distribution of sacrifice. So if he's telling me that I'm paying more as a gasoline car than an electric vehicle, then I support an equitable distribution. So I should pay less and they should pay more, because it's not fair that I have to pay more while they're already getting freebies to buy the car. People are already getting these tax credits to buy the car.
Right.
You're using the road. The tire is going on the road. Why are you getting anything separate from me?
Would you support or oppose a state law to block social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram,
Oppose.
TikTok, for letting children open accounts?
Oppose.
Okay.
Your job to parent your kid.
Across the country, we are seeing cases where dangerous criminal suspects are released on bail only to commit more crimes while they await trial.
Yeah.
Indiana's constitution currently requires criminal suspects to be offered bail with very limited exceptions. Would you support or oppose amending the state constitution so that courts can hold suspects without bail if releasing them from jail would pose a substantial danger to the public?
Oppose, and here's why. It doesn't need to be in the state constitution. This is what we do now. Anytime we want some law passed, we go, and it must be in the state constitution. No, just pass a law. This is if you're an illegal immigrant, we hold you until the correct federal authority shows up and can escort you back to your country of origin. Like, that's the law. We don't need it. It doesn't even mean the Constitution. Constitution should be reserved for the very tippy top stuff. Just make it a law. It should already be the law. It's not already the law that if you're an illegal and we catch you, we hold you till the feds show up? Why is that not a law?
All right, there are more questions, but we've got to get to the news, so we're going to get to this last one, because I believe this is the most important for
how
you.
exciting.
Voter turnout is normally the highest during November general elections.
Yeah.
Would you support or oppose a law requiring local property tax referendums to be conducted only during general elections?
If I can't get it abolished, yes, I would support the fall of the general elections. Yes, absolutely.
All right, we've got voicemails coming up. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Howard Bailey Financial is now in Carmel on Rangeline Road. For over 20 years, we've helped people navigate their retirement journeys, and now we're bringing our experience closer to home. Visit retirecarmel.com to schedule your appointment or text Carmel to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement resource. Together, let's build the retirement you deserve. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Working on what happened. Still some foggy conditions. It's 48 degrees downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The black box has been recovered from the jetliner that crashed after colliding with an Army helicopter in D.C. this week. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says his department is working with the NTSB and FAA to figure out what happened.
We don't want the American people to feel like things are being held back that we can then therefore disclose. So that is part of our investigation from CID, from Army Aviation. what were the circumstances by which that flight was exactly where it is.
More than 60 people were killed in the collision. Dozens of bodies have been pulled from the Potomac. A new reading on inflation is in. Fox's Lillian Wu.
The latest read on inflation shows it worsened in December as expected. The Fed's preferred inflation measure, the Personal Consumption Expenditures, or PCE price index, accelerated slightly in December as price growth remained stubbornly above the central bank's annual target. The PCE rising 0.3% in December. The gain, the biggest since April, supports the Fed's latest decision to hold off on further rate cuts. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Mark Dietl is the only local Indianapolis real estate expert I trust with the sale of my home, and I would trust him to find me a new home, and I would trust Mark and his team to find me a new home as well. Look what happened with Crystal in Franklin. She was moving to Kentucky and needed to move fast. When she got the Mark Dietl marketing plan, she was blown away. The plan worked. Crystal got full list price in the first weekend. Just like that, Mark and his team got it done.
Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That is what separates Mark Dietl from the competition. You pick the move date, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Call Mark Dietl today. At least start a conversation. 317-755-4232, or go to markdietl.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com.
Dents happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal that saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry X's, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WYPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present voicemails.
I'm hearing from so many people. These township trustees across the state are they're just beside themselves right now.
Yeah, they're coming out of the woodwork, huh?
I mean, he didn't mean to do it, and he's a heck of a nice guy, but that Chad Ellis, who was a great guest and very nice to talk to, he essentially just took a shotgun and shot township government right in the face in that interview. I mean, he made the case directly that there's all this money that is not spent properly. He made the case that people shouldn't be sitting on all this money, that there's not a revenue problem. There's an allocation of funds, and he did it quite articulately. I mean, wasn't it like we asked him any gotcha questions? He said exactly what he thought. He offered it up. And now all these township, so-and-so wants to come on and talk to you. Now
sure,
so-and-so
where were you last week?
Yeah, I said,
we were asking for it.
Yeah. Now all these people want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
If you missed the top of the hour conversation with Chad Ellis, he's a township trustee in Gibson County. It was a great conversation, and he said the thing directly about how much waste is going on, about how poorly the money is being allocated, and that you can do the Braun property tax reform, and if the desire is not to lose a single police officer or fireman, you can absolutely do that. And that was a rural township trustee making the case. Now all these trustees are pissed off because he said the quiet thing out loud, and now they're scrambling to, so-and-so wants to explain their situation to you, and so-and-so wants to explain their situation. I'm not interested in your situation. You haven't been interested in my situation for 4 years. You haven't been interested in people potentially losing their homes or being taxed out of their homes the past 4 years. I don't give two damns about your situation. You know what I care about? People being able to afford to live in their homes. He said the stuff. He said of his own volition and free will. He was very articulate in it. He said exactly what a lot of people think and exactly what a lot of people know. I ain't interested in talking anymore. We're done.
So now it comes down to the state legislatures, and what are they going to believe? Which side are they going to pick? They're going to pick the townships and the trustees and the local governments, or are they going to pick you, the constituents, the voters, the residents, the taxpayer?
If Holdman and Bray actually want to pass that Senate Bill 1 in its entirety, they should make that guy their expert witness. They should just play the interview. You don't even have to make him the expert witness. Just play the interview.
Doing the work for them,
Well,
Rob.
but that's because we actually want this.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality of this is, and everybody needs to, I think people are pretty clear now that these lawmakers do not want to help you. They're doing this against their will. They're slow walking it because they're hoping it will crumble. There's a reason this thing hasn't. Look at all the goofy, wacky bills that have had hearings already. And this one, well, week, couple weeks, it'll get a hearing. Senate Bill 1, and we're going to be in the middle of February before it's going to have a hearing. They're slow walking. That's the same reason that they're slow walking the Thomas Cook investigation in the city of Indianapolis.
Did you see they hired new attorneys for that?
We have completely today blown up any argument against Braun's property tax bill. You have a township trustee in a rural township openly admitting that it is not a revenue problem. There's plenty of money.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how much money
They're
you give,
sitting on surplus money.
and no matter how much money you give these people, as he said, they're just going to
They want more.
They're going to waste it eventually.
Yeah.
They're going to keep coming back to you for more money. I'm done talking. You trustees had your chance. You guys had your opportunity. We've been trying to have this conversation for 3 or 4 years now. Nobody wanted to have it. Now you're on the ropes. Now there's a lot of momentum. The train has left the station, and the momentum, the people have seen through the bull crap, and now you guys want to have a conversation.
But, what? Wait.
Yeah. I'm not interested in having conversations anymore.
Let's get to a voicemail about this exact thing. 317-684-8444. That is the phone number. Here we go.
Hey, Rob and Casey. Was calling in regards of Governor Braun's of the state speech that he gave, which I thought it was an amazing speech and very great. And it goes to the property tax and how Democrats and everybody are crying that, we do these property tax cuts and everything. We're going to lose firefighters. We're going to lose police officers. We're going to lose these resources. I wonder if anybody has done any research to see how many cops and firefighters these communities and towns and every place have hired with all the property tax increases in the last 3 to 4 years. Because that should be a telltale sign that, hey, if they hired in 20 different police officers in that amount of time, extra officers or firefighters, it's going to happen. But if they haven't hired anybody, just call them out on it. It's BS in my opinion.
That's perfect. Yeah. Yeah. How many of you brought in?
Mm-hmm.
How many of you brought in?
With that extra money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, here's another phone call. You've got the Super Bowl coming up on February 9th at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. It's going to kick off at 6:30. Rob Kendall's not watching it. Here's somebody who wants to argue with you about that.
A beer, two, and a hammer yesterday. Have no desire to bet on the Super Bowl this year. Oh, there's a lot of side bets you can be doing, so get a life and get yourself a bet going on how soon Kelsey and our wonderful little sweetheart will be making love out on the field following the game, or on the commercials. Lots of commercials there. How about the Manning brothers? Which one will kick the field goal and be able to score thrills and chills and maybe $1 million for somebody? And the insurance characters. Hey, why don't we make a bet on if Mayhem and Flo will have a special relationship, or maybe if somewhere that Jake from State Farm may complicate that. So many things to bet on. The Fritos commercials, if the singer is going to botch up or be found lip-syncing during the halftime show, if the car commercials are going to be doing nothing but promoting EVs again. And, of course, the final score, lopsided, how many points difference lopsided score will be. And how many of the officials will actually confess following the game and the awarding of the trophy that, yes, they were on the take for this?
So there's going to be a new Bud Light Super Bowl commercial. It's going to feature Shane Gillis, Post Malone, and Peyton Manning. And this is to be the real men of the cul-de-sac, big men of cul-de-sac. And it's supposed to pay tribute to the neighborhood parties that are happening across every backyard, they say.
Who are the three? Who are they?
Shane Gillis, Post Malone, and Peyton Manning.
Want to bet if we went to the houses of Shane Gillis, Post Malone, and Peyton Manning, they don't live in a neighborhood nor on a cul-de-sac?
On a cul-de-sac. It's more like a gated community.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Bud Light has said that they hope our fans can see themselves in this, which is going to be quite a change from their past marketing campaigns, right? Here's a phone call. This one is about the RFK hearing and the Democrats.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Just commenting on Casey mentioned, I think, yesterday in her show during the RFK hearings, some people's reactions that are saying, oh, I'm leaving the Democrat Party. And I made this prediction to my wife even before Trump got elected. I just kept seeing more and more people saying they're leaving the Democrat Party than anyone saying the other way. Oh, I'm leaving the Republican Party. And it's continuing. And I'd love to get your thoughts on what are the Democrats doing here? Because every time I look around, they're just bleeding more voters, and they're losing at every turn. And I just don't know what they're going to do, how they can actually get back voters. I mean, not that I care. I don't care. But they're doing everything in their power to lose more and more voters. And that's exactly why Trump won.
Okay, well, according to Destiny Wells, they're going to recruit and rebrand and something else. But I think you saw what their plan was. It was the open border. It was bringing in all of the illegal immigrants.
But what did the Republicans offer? Like, did these people just check out? I mean, how many of them actually go over and vote for the Republicans? Because what are the Republicans offering?
I would like to say fiscal responsibility.
Right? They're on the verge of cutting a deal with the Democrats to raise the debt ceiling. We saw with the Federal Reserve come out and not cut interest rates, as a lot of people thought they were going to do, because of the lack of assurity, any sort of assurity, of any sort of fiscal restraint coming from the federal government. There's nothing. There's no plan whatsoever to get the inflation stuff under control. Again, Republicans are doing much better. Trump, not the Republicans, but the Trump is doing a much better job on the border. But in terms of things that are actually going to make things more affordable, what's the plan?
Well, we heard from Monica, who we spoke to earlier this morning. She was at the RFK confirmation hearing, and she said the same exact thing, that she was told by people in line that they were leaving the Democrat Party as well.
But what's one thing to leave and not participate?
Yeah.
But what does the other side offer you? This is the pendulum, right? One side promises something, they don't deliver. Another side promises to fix it, they don't deliver and make it worse. Like, we've just been going through this for years and years and years. All right, we got to talk to Hammer, right?
Yep, it's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
We're going to have fun this afternoon. It's the Hammer and Nigel show. We crack the mic at 3:06. Biggest stories in Indy, but we're going to have a little Royal Rumble fun, and we're going to do Beer Sample Friday every single hour, okay? 93 WIBC.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
With a B&W Premier Club membership, you'll stay ahead of breakdowns and costly repairs. Our members get routine maintenance, priority scheduling, and exclusive discounts, saving you money and keeping your family comfortable all season long. Visit bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108 for more information.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our 98th annual New Year's sale. Save 50% off on all Lazy Boy and Indiana-made Smith Brothers of Bern, plus an extra 15% off when you pay cash or get 3 years interest-free financing. Every sofa, sectional recliner is on sale only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
Hi, I'm Scott Wilson, third generation owner of Wilson Farm Market, just 15 minutes north of 465 on 31. If you are looking for your source of homegrown, locally made, know where your food's coming from, we are your spot. We have hand-dipped ice cream, 130 different kinds of cheese. We fry chicken, just a little bit of everything, a foodie's heaven. Wilson Farm Market, where good taste runs in the family. Just 15 minutes north of 465, right on US 31.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-210-8808. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808. 800-210-8808.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
He's joining us from the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show, Jason Hammer. Good morning.
Good morning. And today, if people got paid, a lot of people get paid on Fridays.
End of the month.
Oh, people get paid.
Some people, Rob.
Some do.
It's, what a novel concept. You mean like when you're supposed to get paid, people put money in your account and it's the correct amount?
Yeah. For most people, yes.
Huh.
But for those
What's
who
that
did,
like?
let me finish my pitch, please. Please buy tickets to our charity bowling event if you got paid today, okay? I'll let you bitch in just a moment. But please buy tickets to our charity bowling event. We're helping Hoosier veterans. So we got less than a month to go. Friday, February 28th, when Beer Sample Friday meets an event sponsored by Jack Daniels. Somebody's getting pregnant that night.
Oh, boy.
So buy your tickets right now. We're going to have a great time. We're doing our show out there. 6 to 9 p.m. is when the bowling event is. Man, lanes are going pretty quick, so you can buy individual tickets or lanes. By all means, go ahead.
You ever been duck pin bowling?
I have. They used to have a duck pin place on like the east side of Indy.
That's right. Yeah. And, something I think that'd be fun for us to do sometime. Bowling, maybe we all go duck pin bowling. Also, Beef and Boards is still around. I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah. You ever been to Beef and Boards? It's a dinner theater type of thing?
No.
Went once when I was a kid. Had a pretty good memory of that.
They should do a one-man Rob Kendall show there.
I was going to say, I get theater every day. Just bring me something to eat, and I've got dinner theater.
Right now, if you go to the Hammer and Nigel Show Facebook page, okay, if you go to facebook.com/Hammer and Nigel or our Twitter accounts and even Instagram, I've put together a little thread of WWE superstars in town for the Royal Rumble sharing their thoughts on WIBC radio hosts.
Oh, how exciting.
Great.
So if you would like to see that, everybody is, featured that's on the daily calendar here.
Very cool.
Make sure you check that out. Hulk Hogan remembers you well, Casey.
Oh, good.
I bet he does.
Do yourself a favor and go check that out right now online, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So, in honor of the big Rumble coming to Indy, right?
Yeah.
Because this is like a big deal in the wrestling world, the
Sure.
Royal Rumble.
It's probably the second biggest event the WWE does every year, right?
I agree.
WrestleMania's one, Royal Rumble's two.
Right. At one point, you get all these people in the ring. It's a big, battle Royal Rumble. So, Casey, we're going to play a little game here.
Oh, no.
One of the great wrestlers of all time, now retired, but he's still kind of a brand in the sport, is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play you a soundbite from Steve Austin, and we're going to stop it at one point.
Okay.
It is your job to finish the soundbite.
Okay.
And if you don't know it, just give us what you think he would say.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Number one.
That's the bottom line, because...
That's the bottom line, because that's the way it is.
That was a Bruce Hornsby song. Didn't Bruce Hornsby sing that?
Bruce Hornsby in the range.
I don't know.
That's the bottom line, cause...
Stone Cold said so.
Stone Cold said so.
Darn it, missed that one.
But he should have gone with yours.
Right.
Better.
I love the energy right there. Hell, if Bruce Hornsby would have put half that juice into a song, would have been an even bigger hit. All right, here we go. Number two.
Yeah.
Talk about your Psalms. Talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just...
John Cougar, John Deere, John 3:16. No, that's Keith Urban who said that.
Austin 3:16 says, I...
love you.
Close. I just whipped your ass.
Oh, wow.
A lot of spouses say both of those things to each
Okay.
other.
Okay.
Crystal says that to me on a daily basis.
Wow.
I love you, and I just whipped your ass.
Okay, all right. Here we go. Number three.
And we're going to open up a big, fat can of...
Whoop ass.
Yeah! There we go.
Yeah. Woo.
There we go.
I have to tell you something, Hammer. I know you guys love the wrestling. Wrestling was banned in my house when I was growing up.
Happened to you too, huh?
It did. My brother, older brother, used to watch the wrestling, and then he would get all worked up, and then he would come pile drive me or give me a big Charlie horse right in the thigh.
Yeah.
And Mom said, no more wrestling.
Oh, no.
My parents put the ban on me from 1994 until one day randomly, and I think my... It's funny, right?
It is.
I showed her yours.
Can I see it?
Hammer's passing around a picture.
You got to go to the
now.
Hammer and Nigel pages to see this. Yeah, so my parents put the ban on me in '94 because that's all I did was watch and do wrestling all day. And then
Did you ever put your mom in the sleeper?
Well, here's what happened. I was doing it to my friends, and they're like, "You're gonna seriously hurt somebody because you're too good at these moves."
Now, fun fact: when I was in high school, I actually was the manager.
You're a mat rat.
I was. I helped keep score
You're
of the wrestling
rat.
team. Is that what they were called?
Yeah, and we
2
know.
2 points takedown.
Yeah, keeping score. That's what they did.
She was scoring, all right. There's no doubt.
Is that mine? Are you passing her up more photos?
No, this one is Tony Kennett's.
You got to go to the Hammer Nigel Facebook page. Is that right? That'll have it.
Yes. Facebook, Twitter, because I got a thread going on Twitter or Instagram. I just put the Instagram post up there as well.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and then in '96, for some reason, I think to curry favor, my mom was just randomly one day like, you can start watching wrestling again.
I just showed Casey hers.
That's so perfect.
It's likely to have happened.
Right. She's not ruling it out.
No. I would have.
Is Hulk Hogan gross? Like, when you look at Hulk Hogan, is he gross? Because my wife looks at him every time. Like, I'll be watching
he doesn't use soap?
Well, no, I watch the old wrestling, and she looks at his skullet, and she's like, that is so gross. Is Hulk Hogan gross?
No, I don't think he's gross. I think he was pretty cut back then.
Not like right now. Are we talking right now?
No, I'm
or-
talking like
old
Terry Bollea in 1988, which is the tribute in the Casey.
Right. Well, I feel like we got to take your wife's perspective out of the equation because she's married to you. So judgment might not be her strong suit.
It's her birthday today, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to that beautiful lady.
Speaking of which, when we come back, we went to birthday dinner last night, and a fan approached me during
you
the
have
dinner.
to talk about
I got to tell you
this.
the story.
Okay.
They nailed it. They nailed our life perfectly.
We're doing Beer Sample Friday every hour today. TKW, our old producer, we've got him credentialed for the Rumble. He's going to come in and have fun with us.
Nigel quit drinking. Nigel said he quit drinking.
Oh, Rob, you and your drugs.
Thanks, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
One of the joys of working with Radio 1 has been that they actually listen.
How can a partnership with WIBC serve your business?
My name's Jake Stamper. I'm the president and CEO of Sagacity Consulting, a full-service marketing and advertising firm.
Communication.
I choose to work with Radio 1 because I have such respect for their ability to achieve a goal. We have served manufacturers to not-for-profits to retail, and the privilege that we have in working with Radio 1 is that they listen to the problems that we're trying to solve or the goals that we want to achieve, which each one of those very vast clients.
Deliver your message to the audience that matters.
My clients have been extraordinarily happy over the last 20 years with the results produced by Radio 1.
Text business to 71007 to take your advertising to the next level.
Radio 1 does a phenomenal job at connecting with the community on every level.
Get results with WIBC.
Attention Indianapolis residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid with no cost to you, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in Indianapolis and they get paid instantly. This is 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need and your caregiver gets paid instantly. Freedom Care has over 7,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in Indianapolis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's free to you through Medicaid, go to freedomcare.com or call 463-262-0024. 463-262-0024. That's 463-262-0024.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
It takes everyone in the community working together to create a brighter future. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Visit liveunited.org to learn how you can help.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Indiana's Attorney General is back under the microscope of the state Supreme Court. Plus, Harrison Silcox reports on the crash in D.C. and the Hoosier who was on board, and concerns at the Indiana State House over similarities to Project 2025. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
They've confirmed the names of more victims of the mid-air collision near Washington. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it is overwhelming to the families.
They're still shell-shocked. It's understandable. We have a duty to try to provide as much information to them as long as they need it.
Todd Inman with the National Transportation Safety Board, which has recovered the black box flight and voice recorders from the American Airlines regional plane that collided with an Army Black Hawk helicopter, killing all 67 people on both.
There are a lot of questions about air traffic control staffing at the time of the crash because there's a preliminary FAA report. Staffing levels were not normal when the collision happened on Wednesday night. One person was apparently communicating with both both planes and helicopters when normally 2 air traffic controllers handle those responsibilities.
Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble at Reagan National. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth tells Fox.
Was the Black Hawk too high? Was it on course? Right now, we don't quite know.
President Trump, though, posted on Truth Social the helicopter was flying too high by a lot. The president's ready to keep shaking things up at the Justice Department. Fox News has learned he's informed some senior FBI officials they need to resign or they'll be fired.
At his confirmation hearing this week, FBI Director nominee Kash Patel said he had no desire in going backwards or seeking retribution and told senators he was unaware of any plans to punish agents involved in the investigations of President Trump.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Tomorrow, as part of the Gaza ceasefire deal, Hamas will set free 3 more hostages kidnapped in the 2023 terror attack that triggered the war.
Among the 3 being released is Keith Siegel, the American-Israeli from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He was taken from Kibbutz Kfar Aza on October 7th, as was his wife, who has already been released. After her return, she said when she left, Keith had been severely injured. Among the Americans still being held by Hamas, Sagi Dekelchen and Idan Alexander. The bodies of 4 Americans haven't yet been returned.
Jessica Rosenthal, America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Back on the hot seat, it's cloudy and 47 degrees downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Disciplinary charges have again been filed against Attorney General Todd Rokita by the Indiana Supreme Court. The charges pertain to Rokita having signed an affidavit admitting to official misconduct last year, only to publicly state after the fact he did nothing wrong. The court says Rokita was not candid during his disciplinary hearing. A woman from Carmel was on board the plane that crashed into a helicopter in Washington, D.C. Wednesday. Harrison Silcox reports.
Indiana Senator Jim Banks says the woman's husband was waiting for her to land.
Azra Hussein, whose husband was on a viral video last night. He was at the airport waiting for his wife. At that point, we didn't know that his wife was from Carmel, Indiana.
Banks talking with WIBC's Hammer and Nigel. He says it's important to not rush to any judgments on what happened and let the investigation play out. Over 60 people died in that collision Wednesday night. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Bestiality and child porn are just some of the charges against 4 people here in central Indiana. Court documents say April Brown, Eric Reed, Stephanie Reeves, and Anthony Strahl were all involved in a child and animal sex abuse ring in Greenfield. Reeves, in particular, is said to have let a dog perform sex acts on her. Some advocacy groups say legislation being pushed by Republicans in the State House is too close to tenets of Project 2025. That's a set of policy recommendations put forth by the Conservative Heritage Foundation. However, Indiana House Speaker Todd Houston says,
first of all, I've never even read Project 2025, so I wouldn't even know what that classification is.
The ladies' market at the Indiana State Fairgrounds is a place where you can find gifts for that important woman in your life. That's the message from Sherry Spooner.
Moms, sisters, BFFs, and just have a great time shopping and eating and drinking and just enjoying themselves.
The market opens at 5:30 p.m. today and also runs through Saturday. More than 100 vendors will be there. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. I'm here with Michaela to talk about water damage. Water damage at your home or business can come from heavy rains, broken or frozen pipes, and countless other ways. Michaela, if someone has a loss due to water, why should they call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local, family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. We are manning the phones and ready to help 24/7, 365. Michaelis specializes in water damage restoration, is IICRC certified, and will restore your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
I know a big part of getting back to normal is dealing with the insurance company. Can Michaelis help there?
Yes, Michaelis works through the entire process on your behalf to make it easy and give you peace of mind.
If you have water damage, call the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and mold, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, January 31st. It is 5 minutes after 11 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So can we talk really quick about this bill that was introduced by Anna Paulina Luna? She's representative from Florida. The bill seeks to add President Trump's face to Mount Rushmore. She argued that Trump's remarkable accomplishments and future success deserve recognition on the national monument.
See, this is actually a really dangerous thing, because this worship of Trump, and we talked about this when he got inaugurated. Our job now is to hold him accountable, hold all these Republicans accountable. That is the phase we have entered into, which is, hey, we voted for you. We cheerleaded for your election, and now, as you should be with all of your elected officials, a federal level, a state level, local level, no friends, because they're not your friends. And your job is to hold them accountable. And it's this worship thing. Look, Trump was a mediocre first-time president. He did some really good things. He did some really bad things. The country was in a horrific position when he left public office, much of it because of what he did. Now, he did some fine things in the build-up to 2020, but it was a complete dumpster fire. COVID was a complete dumpster fire, much of it caused by Trump. The money printing, the emboldening of Fauci, all of that stuff. Now, you can say whatever, well, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, but he did it. He's not even a top 10, 20 probably all-time president. Now, maybe he will be at the end of this term. Maybe he's going to kick so much butt and take so many names, and by the end we'll be like, man, that was, Reagan reincarnated, right? Mm-hmm. But right now, that is utterly ridiculous that you would compare him to Washington or Lincoln or Jefferson or even, look, I don't think Roosevelt was all that great of a president, but certainly the public sphere, historically, he is viewed as one of the great American presidents. I mean, it's laughable that he would be compared to those people.
So the Interior Department is the one that would oversee the addition if Congress approved it. I mean, let's get serious. Congress most likely not going to approve it. Trump said he was okay. He didn't oppose the idea when it was brought up back in 2019. But that would be under Doug Burgum, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's like laughable. We have no money, and we're going to go to this great expense to carve Trump's face into Mount Rushmore. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're adding. She wants to add. Is that what, we're not getting rid of one of the four?
No. He would just be in addition to it.
We're going to bypass Reagan. Mm-hmm. Like we're going to bypass Reagan and just go right to Trump because Reagan, what'd he do? He just won the Cold War, right? Just reinvigorated the American spirit and American exceptionalism and that's that, of course, right?
So Donald Trump spoke publicly for nearly 7 hours and 44 minutes in his first week back in office. He delivered 81,235 words. Now, on his first day, he gave that 30-minute inauguration speech. Then he gave a second 30-minute speech to the overflow crowd that was in the Capitol in the other room. He also gave a 30-minute speech during the inauguration parade. He spoke at 3 different inaugural balls. He answered questions from reporters on Air Force One for about 20 minutes during his trip. And this is in stark contrast to what Joe Biden did, who spoke for just 2 hours and 36 minutes in his first week, which was only 24,000 words. So
it's amazing Biden could speak how many words? 24,000?
24,259
How many
words.
of them were fat, Jack,
Mm-hmm.
here's the deal, look.
So they're saying that they might have to hire more stenographers at the White House to keep up with how much Trump is speaking.
How much he talks.
Yeah.
We're going to need to hire new people to type.
But here's the other side of that. With all of this talking, is he going to do what Donald Trump does, and that is self-sabotage?
Well, and this is, we talk about this kind of with Braun. This is what's interesting. Like, Braun on a bunch of things is trying to thread a needle of getting the General Assembly to do what he wants to do on a variety of issues. And there's a certain language you got to speak with these people behind closed doors to be able to get these things done. And you do worry about Trump all front and center all the time. How quick does there become an exhaustion factor, not just with the public at large, because there's an old saying, how can I miss you if you won't go away?
Right.
And not only with the public at large, but these lawmakers of, if you're sucking up all the oxygen in the room all the time, and it's always on stage performance, how do you then pull that back and be able to negotiate to get the things done?
I was thinking about this last night. It's the 31st of January. It's been 11 days.
Yeah.
11 days that he has been in office. It's not even 2 weeks.
Like, you think about your company as you're driving down the road listening to us, or in your office or wherever you're at. You think about the company you work for. What do you want the person who's running your company to be? And I think most people would probably tell you the company they run, they don't really want their boss to be some eccentric, eclectic dynamo, right? They want kind of this reliable, steady hand who you can count on. When they say something, they're going to follow through on it. But kind of a boss who spends most of their day with their sleeve rolled up, involved in the nuts and bolts of the business, and isn't being wild and wacky a lot of the time. I'd kind of thought when Trump got elected the first time, that was how he was going to be. I thought the campaign was a bravado, and the actual governance of Trump would be much more subdued. I was totally wrong about that, obviously. And I think it is a detriment that he spends that much time in front of the camera.
Yeah. He was asked if he was going to visit that crash site from the helicopter and the plane.
This is great. This is a great response.
And would you want to play? It's number 1, Kevin, if you can find that. So, I mean, one of the sillier questions that reporters ask. You have it?
Yeah. Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a plan to visit, not the site, because you tell me, what's the site? The water?
Or to meet with the first responders.
And then he asks, what am I supposed to do, swim?
Right. There's not a site. So he did sign a presidential memorandum ordering immediate assessment of aviation safety to ensure the damage resulting from the Biden administration's obsession with DEI is undone. That's what he said. And of course, he was asked about DEI playing a role in the plane crash, and he said, we want the most competent people.
You know what's interesting about these politicians, and it's true with Trump, and I'll bring it back here locally in a second. They hear too much noise, and they hear noise from people who don't matter, and they feel they have to engage with people who simply don't matter. So what I mean by that is Trump feels like he's got to have these press conferences all the time, and he's got to be heard all the time, and then he's got to engage with people who aren't a part of driving his agenda. So, like, that's my point. Like, that question you just heard. It's clearly an utterly ridiculous question. But he feels like he's got to engage with that, and we can chuckle about it. But he does this on a mass scale. He does this all the time. And to bring this back locally on the damage it can do, I was talking with somebody during the most recent break, and we were talking about Rokita and the hot water. Rokita's now back in as the disciplinary commission is, recommending action be taken against Rokita because he came out and said that he didn't do the thing he said he did do on an affidavit. And they're saying, wait a second, you signed this thing, you said you did it. These two things cannot be true. And one of the things Rokita runs into is he hears everything. And I've talked to and heard from so many people who have worked with him and around him. And yes, Todd, we know how much you bitch and whine about us, and we know how you obsess over us. And there's so many of your workers in there who can't stand you but need jobs. And so they tell us all the things you say and do. But one of the things Rokita can't stand is if there is a narrative by anyone being pushed negatively against him. And so in Rokita's mind, as soon as that Supreme Court decision initially came down that was a reprimand, he knew that it was going to be reported, hey, he's reprimanded. There is some slap on the wrist against him by people he doesn't like. And so he felt, I've got to beat these people. I've got to beat the noise, right? I've got to beat the noise because I can't stand. I did this thing, which was unbecoming of someone in my profession. The slap on the wrist, the reprimand, was because I did something unbecoming of someone in my profession. Instead of just taking the lump and just going, it's a slap on the wrist, I'm running against Destiny Wells, who's a complete idiot, and no one's going to vote for her anyway, and my goal should be to get reelected, and I'm going to be reelected because nobody's going to put her in charge.
Couldn't help himself, self-sabotage. Just take your medicine.
Right. He had to go out and sprint out and go, I didn't mean that. I just did that to move this thing forward. I didn't mean that. Well, okay, idiot, but you said in this affidavit you did do it, and now you've opened yourself up to a huge world of hurt. And so my point is, whether it's with Trump or Rokita, these guys engage in the noise. You can't engage in all the noise. A lot of these people are never going to be on your side. They're never going to see things your way. They're never going to report things the way you want them reported. Stop engaging in the noise. And I think Trump engages in the noise too much.
He did pull himself back when he was signing the Lake and Riley Act. A reporter was asking him something that didn't involve that at all. And he did say, you know what, this isn't the time or place for that. But you were really upset about Zuckerberg being there next to Trump or in the front row during the inauguration. And Trump won that massive $25 million settlement against Zuckerberg for banning his accounts. 22 million of it now is going to go towards Trump's presidential library. So he invited the guy to the inauguration, gave him a primo seat, and then turned around and sent him a bill.
Well, I mean, he was engaged in litigation essentially with this guy, and you invite him to sit. It does give a lot of credence to what we've said, that this is basically now a real life game of whose line is it anyway, where the game is made up and the rules don't matter, and it's dinner theater, and everybody's in on the work together. And I mean, why would you do that? If some guy's aggrieved you to the point where you're, suing him or in litigation with him, or you're getting all this money from him because he's done something so harmful to you, but then you're inviting him, all these people who worked their butts off in Pennsylvania and Michigan and knocked on doors for you, or in the rain and the sleet and the snow, and I mean, they don't get anything, and you put the Zuckerberg guy front and center. I don't know. It doesn't sit well to me. I'd be really offended if I was a Trump, door knocker, or campaign worker, or volunteer, that guy got put ahead of a lot more deserving people.
Well, and now it's also being reported that he's going to win some money from CBS from their edited interview with Kamala Harris.
And good for him. I don't have any problem with him suing people if he feels he's been wronged, and that's why the legal system is there. I'm just saying, in terms of putting Zuckerberg front and center, it really doesn't make me think that you're all that offended that this happened to you when you put him right next to you at the inauguration.
Yeah. Okay, so you had an event last night.
That's right.
You did something, and we have to talk about it coming up.
Yeah, fan. I was approached by a fan.
It's 93 WIBC.
The administration is taking shape.
I, Marco Rubio. I, Marco Rubio.
Y un gran honor y le doy las gracias al presidente Trump. I just said I saved a bunch of money by switching to Geico. That's what I said. So.
Hearings and votes continue.
You have said you're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine.
Confirmations are underway.
The vice president votes in the affirmative, and the nomination is confirmed.
Follow the first 100 days on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Exercise Inc. A lot of folks give up on their bodies in their 40s or 50s. Statistically, we gain 1.5 pounds every year past 50, and it's usually a tough slog to fight that. 19 years ago, I took a friend's recommendation, and I went to Exercise Inc. for one of their free consultations. Me? I didn't want to get heavy. I wanted to stay trim and in shape, and that was really a struggle. 19 years ago I went, and 19 years later I'm still going every week. They've helped me to reach and maintain my health and fitness goals, and they do that with specific strength training in only 20 minutes a week. You've just got to try this health and exercise approach, and the consultation is free. My guess is that, like me, you'll be skeptical for the first couple of weeks, and then it happens. You'll feel better. You'll probably lose some weight, and you'll probably look better too. Go to Exercise Inc. today and sign up for a free consultation. Avon, Brownsburg, Zionsville, and Greenwood, now in Fishers too. ExerciseInc.com.
Is credit card debt ruining your life? Did you know you have a right to settle that debt for much less than you owe? DebtBlue has helped people just like you resolve millions of dollars of high-interest credit card debt. They can help with payment relief, the burden of rising inflation, and have a large portion of your debt wiped clean. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, a free 10-minute phone call could save you thousands. Discover how to reduce or completely resolve your credit card debt. In fact, we are so sure that we can reduce your debt that we offer the DebtBlue Success Guarantee. We don't get paid unless your debt gets reduced or resolved, so there is absolutely no risk to call. For your free debt resolution plan, call 800-908-6355. That's 800-908-6355. The call is free. The consultation is free. The more you owe, the more you can save. Call now. 800-908-6355. That's 800-908-6355.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
B is offering 1 bath remodel for as low as $99 a month, or get 2 bath remodels for as low as $249 a month. Call now to schedule that free in-home design consultation.
You think we look pretty good together?
Woo! That's a super D cut.
My shoes are made of leather.
Classic.
But I'm a substitute for
So you had a little din-din last night,
I did.
huh?
Yeah.
Went out and celebrated your beautiful wife's birthday.
Yes, my Hispanic wife had a birthday, and
Feel the need to point that out, do you?
yes, my Hispanic minority wife had a birthday. We've talked about this many times on this show. No one celebrates diversity more than me. One of my best friends is black, and I work with a woman, and my wife is Hispanic, and just the whole...
She's more Hispanic than Selena Gomez,
That's right.
even.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would mean your daughter is as well.
Well, it was great. As we were coming home last night, there was a protest going on the State House.
Yeah, they were out there late, weren't they?
And it was something with immigration, and she was ripping on the Mexicans protesting at the State House. She said, "My people are letting me down."
Why were they out there at night?
I don't know.
was
That's what she was
about
wondering.
that.
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody there. There's like maybe a smattering of people left in the State House at this point.
Well, and it's so funny because it's like, people that are here legally in this country and are legal, or their parents, have come here or whatever. And it's like, what are you even protesting? Like, our country is the most fairest, most decent, most kindest country, welcoming country on the planet. And, people like my wife get super offended when Selena Gomez claims to speak, for all the Hispanics or all the Mexicans or my people or what. She's like, I don't view this that way. I want my country to have people here who are legal and law abiding. And I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous.
How did you know what they were protesting?
She looked it up.
Oh, okay.
There was a news
I
article.
didn't know if they were waving flags from their country.
I think they were, but it was at night.
Were
what are you doing
from,
at night?
Yeah.
And
well,
so,
do they really think that like the senators and
I don't know.
Mike Braun are there in the State House at that time?
Look, filibuster here for a second. Look, because she sent me the thing because she was wondering what it was.
It was a big day then yesterday because they had the LGBTQ day at the State House sponsored by the ACLU, and then another gathering at night.
Emily Longnecker, she's a reporter at WTHR. Protests on the steps of the Indiana State House tonight. People are gathered to protest Governor Braun's recent executive orders on immigration enforcement and some proposed bills that those gathered here say target immigrant communities.
So what they're protesting is that he wants to uphold the law.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. And it's also utterly ridiculous to think that anybody of any sort of Hispanic or Mexican heritage or whatever would be just lockstep with, just let all the illegal people in here. Just let them just run around and have a good old time.
Yeah, especially, the ones who came in and did it legally.
Right. I mean, so.
And the steps that they had to take to get through that process.
Yeah, and doing it at night, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's really going to sway as these lawmakers are having their comfortable steak dinner somewhere. Oh, by the way, it's Thursday. I don't think the State House is even in session on Friday, so most of them are gone anyway. But yeah, that'll show them.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Anyway, so my Hispanic wife and I were having it's her birthday, and so we went out last night, and we went to a fancy downtown restaurant.
Now, I got to question you on this,
because
time and time again, you say that, okay.
What? No, go ahead.
Shouldn't you have taken her mother out to dinner?
Well,
based on your rules?
Look,
it's the mother that should be celebrated?
We had this conversation on the way home, but happy wife, happy life,
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, it's her, my mom and I were talking about this because my mom came over and watched Livy with my dad, and then I took her back home, and I said, I still don't understand the birthdays. It's just very perplexing to me. The mothers do all the work. I mean, like in the case of all of us, whoever, you move 2 feet. That's what birth is. You go from here to there. Like, you don't do anything. The mom has to endure the labor, the carrying, the everything. And dad's 10 seconds of work for the dad, right? So birthday should be celebrating the the mother, but I don't write the rules. Society is what it is. Our old pal Bill Demery, fabulous sponsor of this radio program, had sent us a gift card to this fancy schmancy upscale downtown restaurant.
Yeah.
And because we do such a good job endorsing and supporting his products, and he's very.
He was saying thank you.
Yeah, very thrilled for how well we do. And so I said, I would like to take you somewhere nice for your birthday. And of course, then her immediate thing a couple weeks ago was, you have a gift card, don't you?
She knows you.
Can't show you how much I love you.
This is on me.
So we're sitting there and we're having dinner, and I about to have a heart attack at these prices. Because even with the gift card, it's not going to cover all of it, right?
It's more like you had a coupon.
The other, you see how the other half lives, right? So we're sitting there having dinner, and one of the nice things about radio is, people will often, I'll go someplace and they'll say, "Are you?" But it's on the voice. Unless you watch us on the YouTube, most people don't know. So I can sit somewhere generally if I don't talk to people, and people won't know until I talk to someone. But this guy's kind of staring at us from afar, and he.
Were you being loud?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm very well behaved, and we sat down, and like the seat is facing the bar, so it's like there's a big seat, the big back to this. But my wife sits down and goes, "Would you like me to sit over there? I know how you feel about sitting with your back to people, because you're very concerned that somebody's going to get you."
You like to have your eyes on the door?
That's what happened to Jesse James.
Okay.
He turned his back and they took him out. But guy comes over and walks up and goes, just this was great. He deadpans us. He looks at me, doesn't say hi, doesn't say, "Hey, I'm a big fan." Looks at me, deadpan, perfect. Kurt was the guy's name, wonderful guy. Found out and goes, "You must have a coupon." And I dawned on him. I was like, "What?" And I just started laughing, and I said, "Oh, you bet I do." He goes, "Oh, man." He goes, "I'm a big fan. I listen to the show." He says, "I know there's no way you'd be here without a gift certificate or a coupon." And
this is a step up from Arby's.
I said, "You darn bet I do." I do have a coupon, and that's why or a gift card. And that's why we're here.
Did she enjoy her dinner?
It was very fabulous. Got to take a bunch of it home. I said, "Let's try to get 3 or 4 meals out of this."
Right, this one's got to stretch. Make this one last a few days.
So I did that. I've already been husband of the year, and I've done my husbandly duties.
Well, happy birthday to Gabrielle. That's nice, and nice that you took her out. You thought of her.
I hope my Hispanic wife has a fabulous birthday today.
You know what? There's you had commented about your face and not being recognized.
Yeah.
We did get a voicemail
Oh, no.
about you commented about not being on TV.
Yeah.
For the commercial.
We Grow Hair Indy.
We Grow Hair Indy.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody called and they had a comment on it.
Rob, it's pretty simple why you're not on the TV commercial for We Grow Hair. It's because you've got a face for radio. Stay in your lane, Rob. Stay in your lane.
Well, okay. That's fine, but it's not like Kevin Bowen and JMV or, Fabio or Brad Pitt. I mean, they're fine-looking individuals, but let's not act like they're male models in training over there.
So, I don't know. He's just saying that's why. Easy explanation. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 317-480-4040.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
His take on the plane crash. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President Trump says incompetence may have been to blame for the plane crash near Washington, D.C. Wednesday night. He says he plans to meet with families of those killed.
I will be meeting with some people that were very badly hurt with their family member, obviously, but I'll be meeting with some of the families.
Searchers have recovered the black box of the American Airlines regional jet that collided with an Army helicopter. Over 60 people were killed. The president of Mexico is asking Google Maps not to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum on Thursday sent a letter to Google asking them to reconsider renaming the Gulf following President Trump's executive order. Google says it will only appear as the Gulf of America for those in the U.S. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. We tell you all the time about the amazing impact Life Church has had on my life and my family's life. And I'll tell you what, they have a marriage conference coming up. It's February the 21st and 22nd at their Noblesville campus. And it's a great opportunity for you to show you care enough to invest in your marriage with a date weekend that could return great results for your relationship. Life Church's campus is all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. Great online services. You can learn more about all of it, plus the marriage conference at lifechurchin.com.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
Coming home to a cold house in the dead of winter isn't just inconvenient, it's expensive. For over 60 years, thousands of Hoosiers have trusted B&W to catch their problems early and keep their families warm and safe. Call 317-214-0108 or go to bplusw.com for fast, reliable service today.
That's 317-214-0108. B&W, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Are you ready to take control of your safety? Premier Arms is the place to consider. They're more than just a gun store. Premier Arms is a community for empowered women dedicating to helping you find the perfect firearm. Hey, it's Casey Daniels. That's how I felt when I shopped at Premier Arms. I asked them a lot of questions, and they treated me with respect. Premier Arms is in Brownsburg. They're also online at premierarms.com. Their phone number is 317-858-3030.
The Pacers are excited to be back home in Indy.
McConnell again, 6 in a row. Give it to the young fella.
We're tipping things off early on Saturday afternoon against the Hawks.
And it's over. Nembhard beat the clock with a 3 from out of the left end.
You don't want to be late. It's an early tip on Saturday when your Pacers host the Hawks. Game time is 5. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. That's Pacers.com. Pacers Hawks, Saturday at 5.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So we were just talking about your wife and how you took her out to dinner.
My Hispanic wife?
Your Hispanic wife.
Yes,
how
thank you.
Took her out for a birthday dinner. And then you had done the commercial for Life Church about the marriage.
That's right.
Event they have coming up.
All coming together.
Yeah, so I thought this would be a good time to play this audio of this wife who is expressing her gratitude. You want to find yourself a partner who appreciates you.
We're thriving because of you. Like, I'm able to get a new phone because of you. I'm able to go get my eyes tested and get new glasses tomorrow because of you. I'm able to have somebody come in here and clean because of you. I'm able to make a meal for not just our family, but Crystal and Brad because of you. Like, you're not just keeping us afloat, you're driving us. And I appreciate you so much. Like, you, the way you lavish your love on us is insane. Like, you take such good care of us. You are such an incredible provider. And I don't just mean financially. Like, you're an incredible provider for our family. Like, I had expectations of what you were going to be like, and you have far surpassed them. Like, I am overwhelmed with what a great provider you are for our family. I am so blessed, and I'm so grateful that you're my husband. I just want you to know that.
Did your wife say that to you last
She
night?
wakes up each day and she's like, "You're lucky I'm still here."
Get you a girl who says that to you, huh?
Have you ever been that nice to your husband ever?
After hearing that, she's just gushing over him, and it really did kind of make me feel like, wow, maybe I should say thank you or remind him. I mean, I've said nice things similar to that, but maybe
nice things. How long you been married?
27 years.
I've said nice things. Cav, let me as a guy who's still in the dating field, people like that don't really exist. Like that's some sort of either AI or it's some sort of made for TV movie and training. Like that doesn't, you're never going to actually find that.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. And I feel like also this woman, the fact that she set up her camera and she's filming it.
Yeah.
Is she just doing this for content?
She probably just screams at him all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing was, in the video, she's sitting on the couch and he's at the kitchen table, like on his phone, almost like ignoring her.
Yeah.
Until she just kept going. And then he kind of looked up like, are you serious? And she kept going. And then they hugged at the end.
Yeah, I think he was in tears too at the end.
Yeah.
But he didn't know the camera was set up.
Yeah. So tonight, big basketball game. Purdue and IU, they face off for the first time of the season.
Is it really?
Well,
is it a big game?
Am I overselling it?
Well, I didn't see. We did the sports betting show yesterday, and the basketball spreads don't come out till day of most of the time. I'm going to see what the spread is. Okay, let's play the Price is Right. You go over the spread, you lose. I'm going to say 14.5. Purdue's a 14.5 point favorite. What do you got? What do you got, Casey?
Purdue being the favorite, I'm going to say 20.
Purdue's a 20 point favorite. Kev, what do you got?
16.
We all busted 12.5.
Oh.
I'm all over 12.5.
Okay.
I'm all. Purdue could beat IU by 12.5 with their bench.
Mm-hmm. So
how is it only 12.5? There must be something. There's no way. There's no way. Because Purdue's not taking their foot off the gas when they get those guys down. They're not sending the scrubs in. They're going to beat them by 50. And I hope they do, because the faster they beat them by 50, the faster Woodson might get fired.
So Purdue's won the last 2 games in the rivalry, including 8 of the last 9 games.
And by the way, I don't want to hear any grief from you tonight because I've already said IU's bad and they're awful and they stink and I hope they lose by a whole bunch. So you don't get to, as a Purdue person, be like, oh, we won the game by so much. Look at how great we are. I'm cheering for Purdue to win the game by a whole bunch tonight.
So do you remember when Notre Dame was playing Ohio State in the national championship football game?
You sound like Chris Farley. Remember that bit he used to? You remember that one time?
You remember that one time?
Like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. So, and I was with my daughter, and we were watching that game together because I had gone to D.C. for the inauguration, and we were texting the dude like, what are your favorite college sports teams, right? And of course, we knew his number one answer was going to be Notre Dame. And then you say, okay, well, what's number 2? Because my number 2 was Ohio State. Yeah. So I was I win either way.
And that goes back to you
growing up in Ohio.
Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so
for those of you who are new to the program, Casey grew up with Kirk Herbstreit. She was madly in love with Kirk Herbstreit. Some other, perhaps, lower moral standing potentially was able to steal the heart of Kirk Herbstreit, and it didn't work out for Casey.
That's exactly what happened, Rob. You all the details are correct. But my daughter had texted the dude and said, what's your number 2 favorite team? And he was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have to think about it. Maybe Michigan State. And we both looked at each other and we were like, hello. How about Purdue? Remember all those checks that you wrote to Purdue?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Jim's a decent, respectful member of humanity, and he would not ever lower him. So look, you just, as a parent, and you know this, you raise your kids as best you can. You pray they make good choices as an adult. Yeah. Your daughter made a horrible choice. You raised her as best you could. She made a horrible choice to go to Purdue.
No.
Jim's not held accountable for that. He's a good, decent, God-fearing individual. He wasn't going to cheer for Purdue.
He was the one who was cheering that decision because of the ROI for Purdue.
Oh, return on investment.
Yeah. Because based on the costs and everything.
How did her interviews go, by the way?
It went really well. She had one yesterday. It went really well. They told her she was overqualified. They were like,
wait, just Johns Hopkins.
I know.
You can't be overqualified. What? You're a rocket scientist? Is that how you're overqualified?
She's got another one today for another research assistant position. I think the one today may be more suited for her.
Have you ever been told you're overqualified in an interview? I've never been told that.
Yeah.
Really? You have?
Yeah.
Have you ever been told you're overqualified for something?
Yeah, I've probably heard it a couple times.
Really? I mean, I've never really done.
Honestly, I don't know.
Many interviews, so I don't. That's a thing they tell you like directly. They look at you and go, "You're overqualified."
It's a negotiation tactic.
Oh, they want you to take less money.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's their way of breaking it to you gently. Like,
They don't know how little
this
money
job
I'd
don't
actually
pay
take.
much.
Yeah. At least it pays.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. She's got another one today, so we're wishing her good luck on that one. Susan Beckwith is going to join us next, and it's the Mind Your Manners segment on 93 WIBC.
We're going to have fun this afternoon. It's the Hammer and Nigel show. We crack the mic at 3:06. Biggest stories in Indy, but we're going to have a little Royal Rumble fun, and we're going to do Beer Sample Friday every single hour, okay? 93 WIBC.
Recent talk about rising interest rates and economic uncertainty may have you wondering if now is the right time to sell your home. Will I get the price I need? Will it take too long? The good news, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. There's a friendly, no-pressure, experienced agent who eats and sleeps Indianapolis real estate. Call Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Greg and Franklin had to say about working with Mark Dietl. My tenant moved out of my investment property, and I was ready to sell. I heard about Mark on the radio, and everything they say is true. In 15 days on the market, I had a cash offer I wanted on the property. Selling with Mark Dietl was fast, easy, and profitable. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. It's Mark, DIETEL.com.
On top of your head, and they give you some suggestions on how you might be able to make that a little bit better. Then you take all the information and you make the choice. In the meantime, you can see how other folks have gotten their confidence back with their trip to We Grow Hair Indy and the results by heading over to WeGrowHairIndy.com. WeGrowHairIndy.com. Schedule that totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation today. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
Are you a translator for your spouse? Are you the one always on the telephone because your husband or wife struggle to hear? You need to check out RelayIndiana.com and CapTel, the captioned telephone. The CapTel phone allows the hard of hearing person to enjoy conversations through voice recognition technology, with the other person's words appearing on the easy-to-read screen. Go online to RelayIndiana.com for more information about CapTel and let your spouse enjoy their own phone calls. Visit RelayIndiana.com now.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hi, it's T. Brian Hayes here from the Retirement Money Matters Show. In today's rapidly changing, uncertain, and volatile financial world, setting up and maintaining a successful retirement plan has never been more important. To accomplish this, you will have to make some updated and strategic planning moves. Join me this weekend on the Retirement Money Matters Show to learn about several key moves you may very well need to make right away. The Retirement Money Matters Show airs this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WIBC.
Dads happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that can mess up the look of your vehicle. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal. PDR is paintless dent removal that saves your factory finish and is way less invasive than traditional body shop repairs. And it's faster too, sometimes same day. Google Kill a Dent Removal and check out the reviews and photos. Then schedule your repair. Hail baseballs, kids, fender benders, shopping carts, flying cows, angry X's, and anything else that leaves dents. Don't paint your car. Go PDR with Kill a Dent Removal.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
My quality of life is so different, but one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Discover Barkeep Vodka, the cleanest and smoothest vodka thanks to its unique compression filtering by Indy-based True Essence.
Top shelf quality and value, and you're supporting local Indiana farms. Grab a bottle at any Indiana store or visit barkeepvodka.com.
Book your custom patio project before March 1st and save up to $2,500. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Susan, looks like I'm losing. I'm losing my mind.
Casey, it's that time.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah, you're done with me.
Mm-hmm. And you're done with me.
Well, okay, so as we do every Friday, we wrap up the weekend, sending you, the very fabulous number one audience, into the weekend with the tools necessary to be a better, more productive, more decent member of humanity. We call the segment Mind Your Manners, and we don't just bring in any rank and file amateur for this. We go all the way to the tippy top. She's a former Miss Indiana, now the second lady.
Second lady of the great state of Indiana.
Susan Beckwith. Before we get to our instructions today, Susan, I saw you on the State of the State. Got to say, you looked very royal up there in your VIP box. Tell us about the experience for the State of the State.
I thought he did a fantastic job. I was just really excited to hear about the bold vision, and I feel very encouraged about what's to come. So it was good. The only thing I was thinking, I understand why broadcasters wear so much makeup, because I look like Casper the Ghost.
Well, we saw you, and I was like, there's Susan. She's in the box. I didn't know you got to be in the box, too. That's pretty freaking cool.
Oh, man. I saw some pictures back, and I was like, I need a tan. But it was a great honor to be up there with Maureen, and yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I was and awesome. Like, they property taxed right off the bat, and I loved hearing all those listener stories. So you guys should be very proud of all the great work you've been doing.
Were you aware the cameras were on you? Like, did you know? Did you see where the camera was? Could you see it being positioned at you? Like, tell us kind of the logistics of that, because I would always play to the camera.
I was just very concerned that my phone was going to go off at the most inopportune time, because I had set an alarm to check in for a flight. So, no, I knew that they were there. They were very excited, obviously, to hear what's to come for Indiana. And so, but no, I was more focused on, like, I don't want to be a distraction in any way. So I just wanted to tune in, and be attentive to what they were saying. So.
All right, this week we're doing car etiquette, how to be a nice guest in someone else's vehicle. Is that correct?
This came to me, actually, because it's something that we haven't covered. We've covered a lot of topics, but, I was very fortunate, and I'm thankful, because downtown driving, I don't necessarily miss that. So someone actually drove me to the State of the State, which I was
Hello! We've reached so here's where we're at with the Beckwiths now. She's got a driver, and I tried to do something with Micah the other day, and he's like, my scheduler will contact you.
Oh!
That's where we're at. That's where the friendship's at. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's very rare. I think they probably were like, I want to make sure she gets here in one piece. We know, especially, downtown driving, I'm not used to it. My commute to work right now is like 5 minutes, which is a beautiful thing. But anyways, I had worked all day, and I was starving. And so I thought, oh, my goodness, I wonder if I could take something in the car. And so it just, made me think about, okay, what is a very, cognizant passenger, that's somebody that's, really thinking of protocol. And one of those is, don't assume that you can eat in someone else's car.
That's for you, Casey. Don't assume you can eat in my car. It's very fancy.
I would never do that because I might get crumbs everywhere. But this was a little different situation for you. You were being driven. It was almost like an Uber experience. So I'm curious, is there a difference between being driven somewhere like in an Uber or just being a passenger in a friend's car?
Yeah, I think in an Uber situation, when you're paying for it and you're kind of the customer, then you probably have a little more leeway than if someone's giving you a ride. My stepfather, his car always looks immaculate, but that's kind of one of his rules is that, no eating in the car. So it definitely looks different than mine with 2 kids, where we're always on the go.
Now, is that the same with drinking? No beverages?
I would say yes, absolutely. Because, the thing is that, for some people that they really want to make sure that they keep the interior looking fantastic and just avoid any sort of spills that, could contribute to a stain. And so, yes, I would say just don't assume. You can always ask.
Susan Beck with our guest. It's the Mind Your Manners segment. We're talking about car etiquette, how to be a good guest in someone else's automobile. Okay, so my mother does this, and it annoys the heck out of me, Susan. She always tries to give me money when I drive her somewhere. It's like, you're my mother. She's like, well, gas is very expensive. We're going to Plainfield.
Yeah.
How much do you think it costs? I get like 40 miles a gallon in my little golf cart. Are you supposed to try to give somebody money when they drive you places?
Well, I think that's precious and so very sweet. I think if they've offered it, it's not necessary, but especially if it's a long distance, I completely understand that. But I think that's just a very sweet mom wanting to take care of you.
All right, Susan, who controls the tunes or the audio that the entire car listens to?
That is an excellent question. And one of my points, which is the captain. So you as the passenger do not have the control. So, yes, the captain gets to choose the climate.
All right, here's the question I have. I once took an Uber from Broad Ripple to Brownsburg at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And, it used to be much more affordable to Uber. I Ubered from Broad Ripple to Brownsburg for like $20.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't Uber a lot, so I didn't know the rules. And I guess this would apply whether you're in an Uber or somebody else's car. I'm a talker person, right?
Right. No conversation.
Yeah, what are the rules on instigating conversation in someone else's car, Susan? Does the driver get to control that, or is it like fair game if I want to chat, then I can chat?
I think it's totally fair game to chat, but the thing I would say is don't take phone calls, when you're riding with somebody. I would say, if possible, sometimes that can't be avoided, but just to, silence or text them and say, hey, I'll give you a call back when I'm not in the car. But no, I love meeting new people and talking. When Mike and I were in D.C., I had to fly out separately from him, so I Ubered to the airport, and I had a lovely chat with my Uber driver the whole way there.
Okay, now you had mentioned climate. Does that go for the temperature as well? Because, the dude runs hot sometimes, and he likes to turn that air on even in the winter, and I'm over there freezing. And what do I do? Just, hey, I'm cold over here, buddy.
Yeah, I think anytime, just communicate. But that's what makes me very thankful for dual climate cars, because we kind of run into the same situation. So, yeah, but you can always voice, or ask a question. But I think the thing is just don't necessarily assume.
All right, before we let you go, we'll let you promote the Bell of the Midwest website and Facebook page. But Casey sent me this last night. It was a still shot of Micah testifying in front of the Ways and Means, and I texted Micah. So Micah's in like this, I don't know, it's like a white waiter's jacket or something, and he's like reading a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and in the background is Casey's husband and Sherry, Micah's chief of staff, and they've been there for 9 hours.
They had been there all day long. Let me just tell you something. That's what I was sending that picture to you for, and Susan can relate to this now, because Micah started his day at like 7:30 in the morning, and they were supposed to go in front of the Ways and Means Committee at 5. They didn't do that until 7.
It's why, and what did I text you? I said, this is why I didn't take a job, because it's work. I'm not doing any work. But Susan, you'll love this. I texted Micah. I said, Micah, this picture humors me to no end, because you look like some guy who has been convicted of some low-level crime. You're pleading for mercy on the court reading a statement, and Jim and Sherry are your character witnesses who know it's not going well for you.
I love it. Well, he said it did. He said it went great. It was a very late night. So we talked. I'm away on a trip right now with several of my college girlfriends. We do this every year. So, he did share that it was a much longer day, and he started out with WFYI, I believe, on an interview. You'll have to catch those socks. Did you guys see any pictures from that?
I saw he was dressed. We got to have a talk about the white jackets. I'm not a fan of the white waiters jackets.
It looks a little summery.
You know what? It did, and I said the same thing because I had some pictures come through while I was on the plane, and I turned to my friend and I was like, that actually is not white. It is, like a light tan, but it photographed very light. So I agree.
See, look at this. Look at Rob is giving fashion advice. I'm like, that jacket has not a good look on you, buddy. I would not wear that jacket with those pants.
These are the important conversations we have about the lieutenant governor, what he was wearing.
That's how far up. And it's bad when Rob's like, ooh, I don't know, man. All right, tell us about Belle of the Midwest, the website and the Facebook page.
Yeah, come and find me. Ask me any etiquette questions. Check out my blog. I did hear from a very sweet listener, and I've been hesitant whether or not I was going to say, but he was very kind and so respectful, and he said, this might be the oddest email that you ever get, but I'm a 26-year-old guy on the South Side. I'm just looking for a really sweet, quality girl, and so...
Did you tell him you're married?
No, he wanted to see if I knew anybody that I could play matchmaker, not me. So if you're listening to this, if you are in your late 20s and looking for a great guy, you can message me and maybe I'll introduce you guys. So anyways, yes, come and find me, Belle of the Midwest.
BELLE of the Midwest.com and on Facebook. Susan, you're the best. Thank you.
You guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Susan. And that's going to do it for us today. Great work this week, Rob. I hope we moved the needle just a little bit.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening. We'll see you on Monday. This is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Obviously, the weather right now is brutal. Mother Nature having its way with you, and especially if you have old, crappy, cracked, drafty windows. Man, your furnace is working overtime. The hot air is getting out. The cold air is getting in. That's why you need Window Nation windows. I have Window Nation windows installed in my house, and according to industry experts, heating costs are going up again this winter, up to 23%.